everyone. Welcome to this meeting of the Sanborn Regional School District School Board. We will call the meeting to order now and welcome our friends from Bakey for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready for him? All right. So good evening. My name is Andrea Lancy. I have the honor and privilege of being the principal of Bakey Elementary. And tonight, I'm pleased to introduce two members of our school counseling team, Angelica Laziska and Sue Patella, and a group of our second graders. Our school counselors play an important role in supporting the growth and success of our youngest learners. From the moment students enter our school, they help ease the transition from home to the classroom and foster a welcoming, supportive environment where every child can thrive. Throughout the year, our counselors work with students in every classroom, teaching weekly lessons that provide a common language and shared expectations across our community. Through the Choose Love program, students learn important life skills such as kindness, empathy, responsibility, community, problem solving, and teamwork. These lessons help our children become successful learners, thoughtful friends, effective communicators, and collaborative members of our school community. This evening, our counselors and students are here to share just a glimpse into the important work they do together. Please join me in welcoming our school counselors and our second grade students.
Hey, thank you for having us and these amazing, very excited Bakey students. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves tonight.
Brody Del Greco, Beckham King, Javen Lyons, Miranda St. Pierre, Max Pulowski, Nolan Dominici, Liliana Del Greco, Winnie Keogh.
All right, so we are here tonight to share one of our Tier 1 learning opportunities. All of our kindergarten, first, and second grade students participate in weekly classroom lessons facilitated by myself and my colleague to promote a positive school climate.
This year, our students learned about the Choose Love formula, and they would like to share it with you.
Plus gratitude, plus forgiveness, plus forgiveness, plus compassion in action, plus compassion in action equals choosing love, equals choosing love.
All of our first and second graders this year have signed our Choose Love pledge and are promising to try to choose love every day to make the world a better place. We've had 149 students this year sign our pledge.
I'm going to give him a moment.
We will have courage even when things are hard. We will have a attitude of gratitude. We will choose loving thoughts over angry thoughts. We will show compassion in our words and actions.
Nice job. Those. Okay. At the end of our Choose Love program, we write poems about what love means to us. And today, some of our students would like to share their poems with you. First up, we have Miranda.
Love looks like the ocean waves. Love sounds like my mom's voice. Love tastes like the yummy food my mom cooks. Love smells like Nepali food. Love feels like the soft, warm hugs from my family.
Next, we have Max Pawlowski.
Love looks like a sunset on a mountain in the nearest beach. Love sounds like a crackling fire in the morning. Love tastes like my grandma's brownies with jello and whipped cream. Love smells like a minty candle with the smell of pine trees. Love feels like a fuzzy blanket and snuggling with my dog in my favorite chair.
Next, we have Nolan.
Love looks like my family, my old teacher, Miss Coolbroth, and all the teachers. Love sounds like nature, a hot air balloon, and a fire pit. Love tastes like toast and cooked eggs. Love smells like when my mom cleans my stuffy. Love feels like water and my dog's fur.
And lastly, we have Javen.
Love looks like helping others when they're hurt. Love sounds like laughing with friends and family. Love tastes like Dad's mac and cheese with taco meat. Love smells like taco meat and flowers. Love feels like kindness and fun with my friend Knox.
Thank you so much for listening and learning about the Choose Love formula with us tonight. To say thank you to you guys, we've made Choose Love folders for you and bookmarks for each of our school board members.
Yes. That is the nice.
Oh, hi, Javen.
Thank you.
I was hoping for some of that mac and cheese and taco meat, to be honest. That sounds pretty good.
I know. Instead of the manifest,
Sandwiches over there.
I'd like the manifest folder change.
They got
Our folder. Very nice.
Thank you.
Here's an extra.
Thank you so much.
I don't have one.
Uh-oh.
This is the manifest folder. This isn't the real one.
It's good.
Thank
Have a good
you.
bookmark.
Good said.
Love bookmarks.
That's awesome.
Awesome. I have a
Reading with my Kindle, though, you can't stick a bookmark in your.
Mm.
That's a little racist.
That is so cool.
You guys want?
I just want to take time to thank all of our, our school counselors, all of our students for putting themselves out there, because this is kind of scary to get in a room and talk in front of people, but they did a great job. And I appreciate the families and friends that came and brought their students to be able to share this event with us here and share our good news with our school board. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to share that with us. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love it.
That was awesome.
You guys are awesome. So cool.
This best part of my day.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, this would be.
it's all downhill from here. Well, can't beat that. I don't think we can top it.
Follow that.
You can't follow that.
Get out.
So we got copies of. Oh. Cute. They don't have a playground here. It be Ken's.
We're gonna wait for the little ones to clear out and then we'll continue.
Dad, who's making the mac and cheese and taco meat
Yeah, taco meat.
there.
One.
Orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I'm 100% convinced.
How do you know?
I just know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what? He's over here for dinner.
He's happy. You can
Yeah.
just say like he's eating mac and cheese and taco meat. Like, you know what I mean? No, but
There was three.
it's Sunday.
You are Miranda.
Then there was three.
Yeah. Whoa.
I thought Cherish did it.
I was gonna say, you want to move up?
I love how you stay right together too. Like, stay united. Stay
So-
united.
It's a little cool in here, so it's gonna stay warm.
And then there were 3.
I know.
Yeah.
There were so many.
Did you? Oh, sorry.
They're not nearly as cute.
No. They didn't write us love poems either.
No.
Fortunately.
I got a love poem.
From Joe?
Yeah, from Miranda.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, we got
All
those
right.
too.
we will continue now with the minutes. We have action on the minutes of 5/20/26.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Approved? I mean, unanimous? Okay. I'll send the manifest around in a minute. Nominations.
Nominations tonight. We have 3 at this point, and we are progressing. We still have, I think, 3 or 4 open positions across the district. High school math. If anyone knows a high school math teacher who would like a job, please have them reach out. That's been a struggle across all of New Hampshire to find math teachers. So that would be great. The 3 we have are Lee Messier, a Bakey interventionist. Melanie Bonifato will be a 4th grade teacher at the Memorial School, and Chelsea Fahrenkoff, science teacher for grade 6.
Okay. And resignations.
There are none of those tonight.
Excellent. And your report.
We need to move those nominations.
Oh,
A motion to approve.
Second.
discussion. All in favor? Unanimous.
Yes,
Welcome.
we have.
Did we notate? Yeah. I'm going to notate now that we have everyone in attendance, but Ken Hamilton is absent and excused. Okay. Where are we? Oh,
Where's up?
your report.
Yes, thank you. Quick legislative update. Once again, it's Wednesday and all the fun happens on Thursday up in Concord. I don't have Dr. Brown to look over at to nod her head or tell me I'm mistaken, which is always helpful. But the report that we've seen on the open enrollment bill is it's back. It has potentially been resurrected from the table. It has been apparently amended up to 7 times in the last week or so. The bill it currently sits in, to give you an idea of what's Concord is, how Concord functions right now, is the bill that the open enrollment language now sits in is a bill that was designed to establish a committee to study the licensure of outpatient substance abuse facilities, which is now turned into the open enrollment bill.
Patient. Have to do with
Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Catfish.
They tucked in, so it's kind of a, they take a bill that's been moving along, gets to a certain point, and then they amend it on the floor or in committee to add the language to the bill. So it's not just Concord. This happens in the old government teacher here. Amendments to the bill have been added to set up open enrollment and to clarify recordings made in schools under the Parental Bill of Rights. So those 2 things are added to this outpatient substance abuse facility law or bill. Right now, the proposal is for, the way I'm reading is about 500 kids. It will be limited to that. I have no idea how they're going to decide which 500 get to take advantage of this and which don't. And receiving schools would receive from the state $9,500 per student. So it wouldn't be us paying, let's say, I'll just use East Kingston because they're closest to us right now, receiving, they would get the adequacy money for the student and another $5,000 from the state. So that's the current proposal. Where that money is coming from, I have no idea, but that's the deal. And the Superintendent's Association has referred to the current bill as harried and chaotic, but there's an indication that they're feeling that it's more likely than not that the governor will sign it, and it may go into effect next month.
So is it 500 kids statewide or per district?
500 kids statewide. But tomorrow that bill will probably change and become something else. I have no idea. I have a drawing of lots by height, birthdays from January 1st. I have no idea what they're going to do. The second piece, and I want to, it's definitely shallot, is the tax cap bill that is, they're keep talking about it. So I think there's a feeling that one is going to pass. That would, quote, the local property tax levy may not grow beyond the prior year's amount adjusted for inflation and new construction. So it would be, our budget for next year is $41 million. That would mean the budget could only go up by, let's say inflation comes in at 3% for the year, by say $1.2 million or a little more than that. But it doesn't, as far as I can read it, and I looked a couple places, not account for things like a new teacher contract, increased special education costs if say a student moves into the district. Those sorts of things you just figure it out, is the way I'm reading the bill. But these things are incredibly complicated to read. So Bond issues for, say, the rooftop units and so forth, would not be included in the tax cap because they would be separate. And I think there is the potential for an approved teacher contract to not fall into there. Totally sure about that. They did not mention it all. I looked a lot to try to find that. So our budget, I believe this year, the number came in at something like 3.41%. So, year on year. So it's not potentially a total disaster if we are, continue to get smaller. That's one of those areas where it's helpful in this particular case. And those votes would occur every other November in the elections where it's presidential, the governor, Senate, and U.S. House for the U.S. And every November those would go. You saw the 3 people that we hired this year. We do have a few. I mentioned high school math is a big time need that we have. Ms. Lancy also let me know today that we are at 87 kindergartners as of today. Right now that my math, it's been a while since I've been in a math class, but that's 17 kids per class plus 2. We max out size of the classroom wise by the sort of the size of the room won't allow us to go over 18 is the way we understand it. So we may, or the board may have a decision to make as far as my recommendation would be if you get to 90 at some point in the next, over the course of the summer would be to add a teacher as opposed to, trying to find positions elsewhere to eliminate, but that's just me. And I think I mentioned last time that the way we look at it, state aid would cover maybe a quarter of that teacher cost based on the number of kids that we have as the increase. Now, the question came up, why the increase? And Andrea was able to kind of ferret out why. These kids were all born in very late 2020 and 2021. So this is the COVID bubble of babies that are coming through the pipeline and hitting our schools. So once again, props to NESDEC for figuring out what I didn't figure out
I'm telling you, there's
last fall.
4 new babies that were just born in my neighborhood. There are people there are kids coming. I just think, great. They're just going to be a little bit further down the line.
I'm a big fan. Have more kids. It's better for everybody if we have more kids, but that's where we're at.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
Dan, I'm sorry, Dan, can you adjust the air in here? Cause it is like a meat locker in here.
I thought I was the only
It's
one.
freezing.
I just bring
I am
tires
freezing.
everywhere.
I think
I'm
it's perfect.
usually-
We're going to talk.
Is there some way you can just turn a couple degrees?
Yeah, not too much.
Thanks, buddy.
From his
Appreciate it.
phone.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Rick. I'm
Yeah.
always cold.
I mean, you got a sweater, you got a
We can take
sweater.
it off.
My hands.
Yeah.
If it gets warmer.
No, I'm
They
sorry.
get-
Yeah.
One day you don't
About to get weird.
because you don't have your suit on today.
Yeah.
Rick, if it gets
Back
back
to
to
it.
t-shirt and shorts, so
Yeah.
it's not much.
It is
Rick runs a little warm.
It's
saying, look, I'm thinking about the.
That's true.
environment,
All right.
Not about me.
If you want to cool down, by the way, go to the gym, which is now about 42 degrees because we're getting ready for graduation. And last, Adam Houghton was here. Was it Monday? Last Friday, actually. Had a great day. We went around. We took a really long look at all the buildings. I covered all the facility stuff with him to give him an idea where we are. We met a whole bunch of teachers. He got a look at everything from the littles to the older kids. And we really had a nice chat about sort of the state of the district. And he was back in today. I told him he'd come hang out with the board meeting. So I think he's at home listening as I speak, but that went extremely well, the visit on Friday. And he's got my number down the road if he has questions and stuff. So we're really happy about that.
Dr. Dawson, I just want to thank you for dedicating your time. It's a very busy time of year with day-to-day activities. I think we're all grateful. It'll help with that transition. So thank you.
It's my pleasure. It's what, I think anybody would do, anybody who's choosing love. Let's call that the theme of the night. To help. It's as I say all the time, this whole thing is all about the kids to me. I think the more time we spend talking about things that are not directly related to the impact that we have on students, that's not ideal. And there's got to be a huge balance where we're talking about kids, and this is all about the kids. It's not about, my ego being bruised or any of that garbage. That's stupid. Way too old and way too grown up for that. Sorry. Well, thank you. Little soapbox there for a moment, but there you go, sir.
Thank you. Okay, subcommittee reports. Do we have any? You want to?
Yeah, I can go. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just give a couple updates. The Facilities and Finance Committee met this evening. Just a couple things. We discussed and voted to approve a no bid for an amount not to exceed $20,000 for exploratory holes to be put in this building regarding the siding that's on the building. Dan, if you want to come, is Dan still here?
Yep.
Dan, could you come up and just briefly discuss, give an update on that, please? That's why I said it. So
Yeah. So we had some failures in the siding. And last week we met with the engineer and architect that actually built this building 22 years ago. And they did an evaluation of the siding and said that none of it can be recovered. It's a complete failure of siding on the building. We do have some trouble spots. So what I asked the facilities committee to do is be able to fund a contractor coming in and do some exploratory holes in the side of the building to see how extensive the water damage is in the building. We don't know to what extent. It could be minimal, it could be maximum. We just don't know until we get these holes done.
but we do know that the water is coming in the building.
We do have
The
water,
board saw that on a tour a couple weeks ago.
right? We do have water infiltrating within the building now. So we know that, we just don't know to what extent. So our plan here is in the next couple of weeks, get a contractor on board here at the school and open up a couple holes in the building, document what's going on there, get the engineer architect here, a couple of vendors for different siding contractors, and give us an evaluation of what's taking place, and then close the holes up temporarily until we can do something more permanent to the building. The cost for doing those exploratory holes, I just don't know at this point, because we don't know how extensive the damage is. We might pop one or two holes in there and say, ooh, we might have to do a couple more holes to find out how bad the damage is. So I asked the facilities committee to fund a contractor for not more than $20,000 to do this exploratory search of the walls.
And that was approved to come out of the facilities use revolving fund. And could you also just, and maybe you're going there, could you just, you mentioned a timeline and a proposed plan on how to pay for it and stuff?
Yeah, so because the deal is we want to try and get these holes done within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Once the holes are open, we have to have the engineers, architectures come out, look at it, close them back up, and then we need to have time to put an RFQ or an RFP together, which typically takes probably about 3 or 4 weeks to do. And then once it's presented to the public as far as looking for contractors, we usually keep it open for an additional 30 days bids. And then once that period closes, it should give us a good idea to what extent and what cost it will take to fix the building. At that point, then we'll develop bids, and then our hope is to somehow write a warrant article for March's election and see if we can get on the ballot for next March during voting, and see if it flies by with the taxpayers in the community here.
Yeah, and we'll also probably couple that with, some presentations here, right? For the community.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, it will be quite an extensive job to reside this building. Obviously, when it comes to that time, I want to have a couple different vendors with their product and show the public as far as what we want to choose as far as a product goes. You can go back to something inexpensive like that is on there now with virtually no warranty, or you can go with products with a 35-year warranty on it, depending on how much the district would like to spend.
I know I told you to be brief, and I apologize. You mentioned you left out the history. I think.
Yeah, well, I
was going to ask.
I think you need to. It's very important that you bring that up, because
all right,
paying for that.
I kind of avoided that because
that doesn't matter. Those board
so
members
when the building was built 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago, the cost of this building went in front of a warrant article, and it failed the first time around. So the citizens said they wanted a 20% reduction in the cost of building this building. So at that point, what they did is, by getting that 20%, there's a couple things they did. They eliminated air conditioning in this building. They eliminated drainage tiles in the ball fields at the school here to save money, and didn't bring in topsoil to raise the fields up to the level they should be. They eliminated the second floor in the band room. That band room was designed to actually have a second floor in there. And they eliminated the brickwork that was supposed to be in this building that was supposed to go from ground to roof level. So the siding that's up there now was never in the master plan for this building. There's a couple good examples. Wyndham High School ran into the same issue, and they have brick on the lower level and siding on the upper level. And I believe Dr. Dawson could attend to that. And Exeter High School, same engineering firm and architectural firm, same thing, but they chose to go with brick from the ground all the way up to the roof level. So if you want a good example of what our building should have looked like, go on over to Exeter High School. So what they did is they said, okay, the engineering architecture firm said, okay, well, we'll put siding on it, but we highly recommend that you go with some type of masonry type siding, like a Hardy board, which is a name brand product. And at that point, they said, nope, we want to go cheaper. So the school board then decided that they were going to go with a masonite, which is like a pressed cardboard is what it is. They were instructed at that time that if you go with that type of product, you need to paint it after 10 years and every 5 years after that. Well, since this building was built, no one has painted the siding. So because of the deferred maintenance on that siding, it's failed.
I think we also should note that the company that made the siding went out of business. There was, I think it was a.
Yeah, I'm going there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
That's right.
But be brief.
So the company that, once again, the
Keep
company,
it short. Okay.
yeah, trying to keep it short. And you
Well,
keep
I don't
feeding
want
me,
to
so-
say it's because the prior maintenance.
Plus more.
team
Keep it short.
didn't do what they were supposed to do. Oh, yeah.
So the company that manufactured that siding has gone bankrupt since then. There was a class action lawsuit from a lot of companies and builders regarding that. And of course, the company went bankrupt and there was no payouts or anything like that. So from the get-go, they knew there was an issue with that siding when they slapped it on this building and numerous other buildings within the area. So there is no recourse as far as going back to the manufacturer. You know, all the lawsuits have been exhausted at this point. So we're kind of in a pickle and, you know, that we're just kind of, we're here and we got to deal with it now. So is that brief enough as far as an explanation goes?
Yeah, no, that was good.
I just had a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
When we did our lovely tour 2 weeks ago, you had talked about the solar. You were going to investigate if those.
Ah,
That was my-
another
Well,
beautiful
My next
question.
item. So,
There you go.
Dan, go.
Next brief item.
Good.
Oh, teed it up.
So I was trying to stay on topic with just the siding,
But I knew
but,
solar panels related to the siding. too.
100%.
right, okay.
Question about the siding once we're done with this.
All right.
We're going to keep
So keeping
Be
the,
brief, please.
keeping the solar, the passive solar system
there.
in check here because it's not an active solar system. The system that's on this building hasn't operated in the last couple of years. And the current system is tied into our HVA system now. And if we were to put new rooftop units on this building like we're proposing, there's no way of integrating that system into the system that we'll be replacing it with. The other caveat is we don't know how those panels are actually attached to the building. So the proposal would be that if we hired a contractor to come in and do the siding, they would also demolition
Okay.
all the solar panels and just strip those off the building. They were added on a couple years after the school was built, so it was kind of an afterthought anyways. But when I talked with Siemens, they don't think that there was any significant amount of savings or energy value in keeping those panels. Because it is just a passive solar system. They're collecting warm air and forcing it into the system and it's not efficient. So,
Thank you.
okay. Do you want me to go into the extremes of if they find and don't find, or just keep it generic at this point?
You guys have a couple of brief questions, Dan.
Sure.
These are brief questions.
Okay.
And should only require brief answers to be in alignment with Rick's desire. So, the exterior of our school, there's a large portion of it that has brick siding. What percentage of the outside of the school, in rough terms, would you say is the siding that needs repair / replacement versus the brick?
Any siding you see on this building needs to be replaced.
To include the solid brick?
No. The brick is fine. It's just the wood siding that's
Right.
on the building needs to be replaced. The brick is in great shape.
certain faces of the second floor of the building,
Yeah. All the siding is basically on the second floor and up.
Okay.
which constitutes what percent of the total siding?
Over 50% when you include the gym.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
we go.
And then the initial, with this whole thing started with a request for a bid, no more than $20 to drill some holes. 20,000.
I'll drill some holes for
Yeah.
20.
Is that what it costs to drill a couple? Oh,
No, I don't. I don't. See,
There was two things.
I've asked the committee that we go with a non-bid
Yeah.
scenario, not to exceed $20,000, because if I have to go out and get bids, it's going to take weeks for me to do that. And we
Okay.
don't have weeks to present this and get it together. So
I think the gap is, we're not talking, when we say exploratory holes,
Yeah.
we're not talking about drilling holes.
yeah,
We're
they're
talking
not little holes. We're going to
talking
tear a
about
section off the
full
side.
sections.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
picturing drilling a 6-inch.
We're talking a
Times like
big 10-foot by
in a bid.
10-foot area.
Yeah, I'm like, I can do it for less than
So we're
1,000
waiving the policy.
Okay.
because
And
of the
we're
time.
Got it.
Well, because
The
we don't
timeline.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're assuming it might be more than 10 grand. We don't know.
Okay.
I just want to verify.
I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dan.
Waiving it because it could go over 10.
Yeah.
But we put a cap not to exceed 20.
And-
And then, James, you had a good explanation of 3 holes, 3 different areas. You could share that if you don't mind.
Yeah, totally. So my recommendation, supported by Dan, is that the real purpose of these exploratory holes, and it does need to be done urgently to meet the timeline, so fully support there, is to provide an indicative perspective on the condition of the building overall. And what we know is that the condition of the siding overall is failing, but what's behind that is different. The siding is all gone, and we understand why. And I think it's very important that the community understands that we are now forced in a position next year to pay for things at a higher cost we chose not to pay for in previous years. That cannot be lost on all of us. There are reasons, as there always are, but that is the root cause of the scenario. What now our goal is to figure out how can we protect and maintain this building, this particular building, at the lowest reasonable and responsible cost. And how we do that is put together a really well-designed and very detailed request for proposals that contractors will later come in and put hard pricing on the full siding replacement. And this is an issue that we'll have to deal with in March of 2027. But the more detail and specificity we can provide in that RFP will result in ultimately the best value, right, for the local taxpayers of the community. So what that means is we're doing exploratory work now, and we have to go find some of the really bad conditions, right, of the siding. You guys were all there. You saw me stick my knife right through the side of the wall. Not good.
I'm sorry. Can you comment? Because I don't think we mentioned it. I think it's important because we're here now, right? It's not just the siding, right? And these holes are not just looking at the siding. So could you talk about what's behind it and how this failure has impacted that?
Yes.
Thank you.
But be short.
Briefly. Brief.
Dan has a beautiful diagram, but the way that the siding works is and it's different than your home. So if you're thinking about your house, this is different. So you have your exterior siding, which is that glorified cardboard. And then you have effectively metal purlins is a word. There's a special industry term, but there's like metal things that the purlins attach. Does it help if I put my hands together like this?
They call them GERTs.
So then there's purlins that the exterior platform touches, and then there's an interior insulation, and then our interior walls. So you have multiple different layers that we need to look at. We know for certain that the exterior-most layer, the siding, has failed, 100% failure. There's no getting around that. Our desire right now is to preserve and maintain the interior layers as much as we possibly can. So the purpose of this emergency, I would classify that as an emergency. This emergency exploration is to identify both our worst case areas where we know there's water damage, our typical case, and then a best case. And what that will do is allow engineers and bidding contractors later to determine, hey, do I need to just focus on replacing the outermost layer of siding, which is the district's best case scenario, or if water intrusion has been pervasive throughout the whole building, do I need to replace those metal purlins? And that's a really bad and really expensive outcome.
That is our worst case scenario. That
Yeah.
would be tearing the exterior walls off completely, which would be probably up to a year-long job, and shutting down classrooms and everything because we would be exposing it to the outside elements.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do now is determine what percentage, if any, needs that really deep remediation versus the best case scenario of siding only. And the reality is it's probably going to be a mix depending on where we're at in the facility. It's also worth noting that this is not uncommon for buildings of this age utilizing construction of this type. Is that a fair assessment, Dan?
That's a very fair assessment.
Yeah. So I just want to be clear to the public that this is not unique to the Sanborn High School middle.
Yeah, and like I said, there's other local high schools that are dealing with the same issue right now. So,
And others who are not because they made different choices.
right, exactly.
No, we already voted. We know you did.
Oh, okay, okay.
Dan, thanks for being brief.
Sure, no worries.
The longest brief. Thanks, Dan.
Enjoyed it.
No,
Would you, do you want to continue with the facility?
the only other thing I had was the removal of the passive solar panels, and you covered that. So
Okay. All right, that concludes, if we don't have any other subcommittee reports. Yes.
Well, we had to cancel the PR committee meeting that was scheduled for today because members weren't able to attend. But we do have an item that is necessary to discuss, like to add to this
Right
meeting's agenda.
Sure. I mean, I think it's appropriate probably to discuss it in the context of a subcommittee report, even though,
Great.
so
I'll let Bob take the floor.
Yes.
go for it.
So, right, hold that back. We've talked over the last couple of months about the idea of really using our communication platforms for a variety of reasons and improving our website and ways that we communicate. Parents, students, the community, and then also extending that to a larger set of folks outside our community if open enrollment becomes a thing, which I think is more likely than not at this point. So the general feeling amongst people that are in open enrollment environments that I've heard from in the last several months in very large districts or states that have open enrollment programs is one key thing is to promote your district. So that when people look at your website, they see something more modern and something more, I don't want to say flashy, but it gives a presentation, also invites people into your school to take a look around and do those sorts of things. Plus, I think if you look at our current website, it's really not up to par. It's not what it should be. So over the last several weeks and really months, I've been looking at a variety of tools and communication platforms that I think that I believe we should look at. And I have one in particular that I've sort of targeted in on. And I can tell you that I had a conversation with Adam again today, and he is in full support. He brought this particular program or this particular tool to the Rochester district when he was there, and he also brought it to Milton. So he's actually implemented this twice in his district. So he's fully in support of this. There are several tools that we currently use that we would be replacing with a single tool. The first would be our website, which is maintained by a company called Final Site. We have a one-page invoice agreement with them, which I don't really look at as a contract. It is a 3-year invoice and quote contract, but there's kind of no language with it. So the first thing I would want to do is look to try to terminate that contract with them and just see how it goes. They may fight, they may not, don't know. It would replace our the school messenger messaging. So when you get up in the morning and there's a school day and I've sent an email to everybody and we post it on Channel 9 and that, it would basically now show up on your phone as a notification on your phone. So you wake up in the morning and you're a senior in high school and you look at your phone and you get a notification saying there's no school today.
Right.
You go back to
Don't get that notification.
they
Parents, right? So is there a way?
that's a good
Kids don't get
kids don't get it. That's correct. Yeah. But what you as a student, okay, would be able to do, or any community member would be able to sign on to because it's an app. It is an app, and it is the tool I'm looking at in particular is a Sanborn specific app. You go to the App Store, search for Sanborn Regional School District, and it would be an app that was ours. It wouldn't be identified with another company, and then you link into your school. So you would get a notification on your phone that said no school today, or remember there's a board meeting tonight, or whatever the thing is that you want to push out. It could also be for an individual classroom where a teacher could send out. I'll give you a good example. They had the CARES Assembly at Bakey this morning, their wrap of the year CARES Assembly. Somebody goes into the CARES Assembly, takes 3 or 4 pictures. You make sure that any students whose parents don't want their kids' images to go out publicly, and that image can be pushed out to all the Bakey parents immediately after the event. And then the superintendent or whoever's looking at the stuff at the district office could push it out to the district as a whole and say, hey, Bakey had this great assembly today. Here are a couple pictures from it. And you start building that community feel of what you're doing through an app. And when the communication device, you could also push messages out that would automatically be posted to school or district specific Instagram or Facebook account as well. And I can tell you our parents they live on the Facebook and the kids live on the Instagram. So that's, where you would cover both bases there.
Facebook.
I just like to call it the Facebook because I'm that old. I go back to the movie, right?
Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say that the real difference that I think the word that you used that I think everyone should pay attention to is push.
Yep.
Right. Like right now, because we're living in a non-app environment, there's just communications that go as text messages or emails that don't necessarily come through as notifications.
Yep.
So a ton of stuff gets missed. So this is, an app is, every school does this. Right. Yeah.
I could say, as a senior parent, like there were a lot of emails that went out about senior spotlight, things to get filled out, and people missed them, didn't see them. Someone missed graduation ticket. Like, I just think if it was something that was more of like a push notification to their phone, it would improve communication.
Well, it also allows people, because of their phones, it allows them to customize the way they want to get notified about things, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. So Jeremiah and I were able to sit in on a meeting with the consultant from Apogee. We got a lot of information about that. I don't think there's any concern that this is a good program. I think there is some remaining questions in terms of being able to move forward with it that I was hoping to discuss earlier today.
Yep.
And one you already mentioned, this contract we may have. Remind me, is that if we can't break the contract, is there a continued financial obligation to that through the end of the term of that contract?
I am no contract lawyer.
No, I just
Okay.
seen it. Could you send it to me? So I can look at it.
I think I know where it is. It's an email. It's basically an invoice.
But it's signed, right?
A 1-page T's and C's.
If it's
I believe in you.
Well, when you mentioned,
Yeah, I don't honestly. I have the same memory I did. We asked Gordon to send it to us, and I don't believe there's even a signature on it.
Did you ask them to send you one?
He
The
got
company?
from them.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Could you send it to me, please? Thank you.
Great.
I mean, there's like, we've done some pretty simple contracts that we've bounced around over the last year, and there's not even language in the back. So I don't know. It feels to me like one that
No barrier.
it doesn't sound like a barrier to me.
As long as you made a formal request to them and you asked them for a copy of the contract that is managing the relationship, that's what they sent you, and you have an email to that effect. That's what I'd like to see. I just want to see that whatever they say.
I'm just curious in that sounds like an answer that has some history of knowing how to deal with this. Does that give you a hint as to what we might end up with? I don't know.
You might end up with a contract that somebody else signed that you're not aware of if you didn't ask that specific question.
My bad. He did sign it, but I'll send it to you.
Yeah, if you ask for a copy of the contract that manages the relationship that's executed, then that's what they sent you, then you're fine.
That's what it is.
But it was dated in 20.
Oh, that's 2021. Yeah, that's expired now.
But that's the only one we have, and then
Okay.
it's in here that it just goes year after year.
Yeah.
Okay, we can take a look at that. I didn't see that document.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, we do also have, and we've been poking around kind of ways to pay for it.
that was my next question.
Yep. So the
much is-
particular app that we're looking at has a $15,000 per year fee. We currently pay, I believe it's around $4,000 for School Messenger, which is the one that we use to send out the school board newsletters and things like that. That one, I believe, I'm pretty sure has a 90-day cancellation on it. The final site is around $8,000 or $9,000 a year, so that it roughly balances out and we get a much, much better product. If we look at a 1 year, we have an implementation fee as well. And the one that we're looking at of $8,500, it's a one-time setup fee on their end. But we do have some other funds. There's a fund called E-rate money, which Marie can explain way better than me, that we could use that money, which comes back in sort of a connected way. It's a communication-based kind of thing that comes back to us that we could use to potentially pay for the first year while we work out the details of getting out from under these other vendors that we have. And there, we don't want to do is leave it in a situation where we don't want to end up with no presence at any point. We want to make sure that there's a transition as we transition SAU17.net or sanbornschools.org or whatever we want to use to the new platform. So we did the PR committee, I believe it was a month ago or so, asked me to look at and dig around to more. So I had reached out to schools in our area. I said, what do you use? I actually went and looked at a lot of their websites and figured out what they use. And three vendors kind of jumped to the fore. One was Aptigee, which is used in the survey that I did of, I want to say there's about 30 schools in that survey. 7 people are using Aptigee right now, including Hampstead and Fremont/Ellis and Milton. Right now we're using Aptigee as their app. There was also School Status, which showed up. 6 different districts are using School Status and Parent Square. There's not a huge difference in the price between any of these. They're all in the same relative ballpark, and they're not a ton of money in the large scheme of a budget, and I think the impact that we get from these. I did send you earlier this week the rundown of sort of the comparison between all of these. They do all basically include a Sanborn specific. They have a Sanborn app, although School Status and Parent Square kind of push you through their app to get to yours. There is a build out that's done of a new website for us. But one big difference that I heard over and over again is we maintain the website by using their tools to build our website, where with Aptigee, we can do that, but we also have US based live, like 6 a.m. in the morning until 10 o'clock at night kind of service where we can get, and what's typically happening in the schools, at least the 2 I've worked in, is we have administrative assistants that are doing our website work. And I prefer to be able to give them some flexibility to kind of add stuff and subtract stuff in live time to the website. All of them have a news feed or a social media stream on the website. They all allow the push notifications. They all allow emergency notifications that automatically push out by text via the app and also through the social media websites, the Facebook and Instagram. They do all connect and they update every single night with Alma. And one of the pieces there is when you build the classroom groups. So let's say your student is in, Miss Ingham's 3rd grade class. If a student transfers to, Ms. Mundy's class, that updates automatically and the parent would now start getting notifications from the new teacher. And you can also set up for, say, students in the middle and the high school as they're rotating teachers. They can be in multiple class groups and they update overnight every night as schedules change and parents leave the district or come in. So a district comes in, they get registered in Alma and they automatically pick up and they would receive all the notifications for their school and also for the district. They all allow us to have co-curricular groups, say your drama club, your knitting club, your whatever, student council for the 5th grade. They would have a group that they would be able to do. There's a parent-student classroom group texting aspect to a lot of these, which I think is going to be super beneficial at the elementary level. That allows communication back and forth within a classroom unit or texting to a teacher, and teachers can actually use their phones to reach out to the class on their phones, but it doesn't show up as coming from them or their number. It comes through the app to the parents.
Would
Right, but and there's
would this replace that?
It would replace the class doges that we're using and also add a huge feature, which is tracking.
Okay.
So that we maintain the data. So as I'm pretty sure it was the Aptigee one I was looking at. So as messages are being sent within the class, it creates a list of every message. But they also, and one thing Aptigee has and the other 2 didn't mention, was they have an AI tool that monitors the messages that are being sent. So if something is sent that they flag as inappropriate, they do flag that. And it is, I think it's also pushed out to the administrator to say, hey, this comment came through that appears to be inappropriate. It may not be, as I've seen that before in doing some monitoring tools with, the web, but it will flag the inappropriate content and it tracks who has sent every single message, and you can go back and get the history of them. And that's that all the devices do that, but the AI monitoring was something that Aptigee had. It was not something the other 2 vendors pointed out.
Would this also be able to replace SportsU?
Potentially, yes. Yep.
Sorry,
I
that
haven't-
was our
We were
exact
just-
question. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I love this app. No, I don't. I would love to replace Sports U.
But Sports U is a good preview if you have it because you know how nice
Yeah.
it is. Where prior to the phone ban this year in my athletic office last year, I could send a notification out saying the baseball game is canceled today at 1:30, and all the parents and all the kids got it immediately. It doesn't take time to push out.
So I didn't want to interrupt you because I think everyone's going to need to know this information at some point, but
Yeah.
it still feels like we can't move on it without knowing that the answer to that question about.
Yeah, I can give you some information right
Perfect.
now. Yeah, so thanks for sending it to me. The one-page document that they sent you states this. That this one-page document is governed by the master terms, which is located, and they have a link for you to go to. That takes you to the link of the contract, which is 14 pages. In that 14 pages, it refers back to the original document that they sent you. This was signed on and this is just quick looking at it, right? November 3rd, 2021. It was a 4-year term that takes it to 25. It automatically renewed for 3 more years.
Right. That's what I have.
I
I have
haven't-
something till 2028.
Yeah, so I haven't gotten to term yet because there's a couple different things. I haven't had enough time. So, and of course, you can't go. It's gonna have to go to attorney, but I can look at it tonight or since we're time now. But
Mhm.
it's right now. It looks like you have a contract till 2028.
Right. And so-
Or I can't remember the amounts on that.
Site. It's I don't know what you're paying now. 24 was 74.75.
It only goes through July of 24 on this.
Yeah, I think the newer ones are not. They're not huge jumps, but they're in that same. They're like
Oh, so
500.
you have a newer one of these?
There was just a bill that we received that I would have to dig around and find. But
Okay, yeah, could
Yeah.
you get that to me so I can see that?
sure, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So there is, I think there is a term left. What the cancellation fee is that I haven't. read yet.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Right. So I feel like I have the same questions that I had at our last meeting, April 15th, and without answers to those. Don't think.
I can look tonight and try to.
Yep.
Try to tomorrow, but either way, it's got to get reviewed by an attorney.
I'd like to make one clarification, Bob, and I don't think that you meant this because I knew where you were going, but I don't think you meant this just
Yeah.
for the good of the public to know the work that the board does. So your comment was something to the effect of, and in a big budget, it's a small amount, right? So we're not going to worry about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I knew that's not what you meant.
No. I know what you mean.
In the scheme of the budget, we are literally doing market analysis in the PR subcommittee of all these apps. And we really boiled it down to this top one that we do believe has risen to the top. And the cost difference is about $1,000. So we're willing to, based on the benefits, receive that cost, but I don't want it to come off as like, oh, it's a small amount as the town is looking at budget
of course.
challenges. Like we're literally diving into that, we're that detailed in our stewardship of taxes. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
We should also mention that one of our strategic goals is to promote greater school pride and the community engagement. And this is invisibility, especially with open enrollment coming. So an absolutely indispensable piece of that. It's really the primary storytelling tool that we have to do that.
Yep.
So it can't overstate the importance of it. And even, this another contract for this other thing, it's like you're going to weigh the costs, against a really significant and important thing, right?
Agreed. It potentially is worth breaking this contract, dealing with that financial obligation. And
Especially if
forward on that.
we're getting from this site.
Need to know.
Yeah, and that's kind of the driver to come and see you guys. Is to say, worst case scenario is we're double paying for something. I believe the bang for our buck would be worth that.
Yeah, I do want to mention this and something to be when we think about the timeline. We're rolling something like this out, because now we're in my world. We have to think about really carefully about site architecture, content hierarchy, and all the organization of stuff. And then the one thing that nobody ever has, which is so critical, is actual content, right? Like if we don't have stuff to put in this site, it's going to be just as bad as it is now.
Yep.
So we need a content strategy, which would encompass how to generate how to catalog, not just it's like somebody's on somebody's hard drive somewhere or wherever on a server, but really be intentional about what content we're getting, what buckets those things have to do with, like athletics or student engagement or academics or whatever, and then make a calendar to put that up. And it's really, it's fun it's good to maintain it, and it'll be a whole thing where we'll have a schedule and whatnot, but getting that initial push of stuff put up with during the initial implementation is going to be a monstrous task.
Mhm.
So
Well,
I just want to
and
put that
I
out there.
think
Like,
there are, and what's cool about this app, at least how we were explained, is that there is stuff built into it that makes it very user friendly. And, a teacher can take a, picture of a club, and it can, through the app end up uploaded to the website, right? It's very cool how it can all
or
be
even,
unified
I'm
together.
I'm thinking about like the navigational cues that people would get. Like, I know we have good photography of sports, say, and other things, but like we have to have a photographer with a real camera at everything we do,
Mhm.
so that we have, and we have to have a stream, we have to have a process and a workflow for making sure that that content gets to the people who are maintaining the website. Because, everyone is going to want to build it and they'll put something up, and then it's like, now how do we get more stuff? How do we refresh this? This page has been the same for 3 months, for 6 months, for a year.
Yeah. So, Kathleen,
Mhm.
what I'm reading right now, and I think that the number one way to find out is to just let them know you're considering canceling and having them send you what it looks. I think the worst case scenario is 14,950. I'd have to see that new bill to see how the rates have increased. But the least could be $7,400, because I don't know when, like, they're
I sent you
clocking
the other-
the renewal term. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's just a matter of, the number one way is just send them a cancellation
Right.
notice,
Agreed.
and then you'll find out. But I don't think it's going to be more than 14,900, and it could be 7,400.
which is less than one student coming to the district,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, which you could pay for.
It's
which is my point.
Yeah, no, it's a good way to look at it.
yeah. If you use Bob's language, it's just small money, right?
I always think of a
It all
small
sounds
part
great.
of 41 million. That's my thought.
True.
Can I cover two more things that I think are kind of game changers here that we didn't actually get to?
Yeah.
Because they really change a lot of things, particularly for parents. All three of these include forms and permission slips being able to be signed online for trips. Okay.
I'll just get my checkbook out now.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Okay. I knew that would
Get
go big. And it also, all three of them will take payments for things like field trips and yearbooks and things like that we don't have.
They won't hold my checks for.
All fun.
So
Senior trip check, I think I wrote that in the beginning.
if I never have to.
yeah, still
I
the
think
bottom of
this is a really important point. Thank you. That's
yeah, they're huge. And I
really
think like
critical data. So thanks. And I think it builds on what Micah, you were talking about the initial content creation. I think as the PR committee goes through this, Kathleen and others, it's so important that we reduce our communication pathways, which will increase our communication effectiveness.
Yes.
Right. So
And
like
engagement.
and engagement, right? Because right now we're spread. I think I have 3 different apps just for sports,
Mhm.
plus just sports, and then drama, and then the regular school stuff. So if we can consolidate those multiple different communication pathways into a single use and add additional functionality,
And
lunch payments.
and here's another important thing. And
Yes, but-
inoculate people with subtle and not so subtle brand cues that speak to pride, right? Like, it's not just this, like, yeah, we're spread out and inconsistent in look and feel, in colors, in all the things that build those subconscious cues of familiarity and pride.
babies can recognize McDonald's. Is that what
Babies
you're-
can recognize McDonald's.
And the other thing I'd ask, not for now, but as you guys look at that, I think engagement data on individual communication pieces is an incredibly useful tool to determine what is being effective and what needs attention. So if, your engagement data on the snow day gets whatever, 20,000 hits, and your engagement data on the sports event being canceled gets 100, there's something there.
Yep.
So being able to capture engagement data on individual communication pushes.
Yeah, interestingly, like the notice about summer enrichment, which we'll get to later. There's the number I believe that we send there is something like 2,111 emails to get that. And it's I think it was over 1,800 engagements. So the engagement rate's really high.
That's a huge number.
Yeah, I thought so too. But the one piece of that, and I haven't dug into the data, I have it, but is when I've looked in the past, it's something in the neighborhood of 77, 78, 79% are on mobile devices. So it gives you a hint about how people are connecting with the content that we're currently pushing out in a, OSO 2005, model, really.
I have a question too. One interesting question. Would you need to be what user groups are available for the app? And can someone in the community download this app at a different level of user and, permissions that doesn't have a kid in the district? Like just somebody who's just that guy. Can Scott download the app and maybe he doesn't get classroom notifications, obviously, but he gets notifications about events, about sports, about plays, about whatever, because we've been also thinking about ways to engage people in the community,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Were we going to?
I stole your public comment. You can come up anyway.
I want to say yes, but I'll confirm that.
Because obviously we would want to have different permission levels because it would be a security issue.
Well, you know what?
Anybody can just download the app and know.
Were they planning on sending anything to the board or?
I'm sure.
It came into the subcommittee.
They do.
The subcommittee, we certainly could have
Sure.
arranged that
Yep.
when we were ready to bring it to the
Yep.
board.
Yeah.
But this conversation is happening in lieu of the subcommittee that was
Well,
supposed
and
to.
with all these questions, maybe we could have them, because I don't, to your point about a motion, I don't think we can make a motion until we know for sure what that contract termination is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
Well, that's
I
what I'm saying. Are we going to make a motion to direct Bob to?
I don't think we need a motion for
No.
that.
Tell me, I'll do it. I will tell you this,
Marie.
I've been speaking to the rep quite a bit from Apogee. She is getting married in 48 hours. So she's off right now, getting married on Saturday. So we've been talking quite a bit. That gives you an idea how much we've been talking.
I still have the 5-pager PDF as well that I could push, or you could push, or I could push back to you.
Oh, yes. Great idea.
It's decently helpful. You know what I mean? It gives people yeah.
Yeah, they kind of mocked up the website.
Yeah.
There's got a big picture of me on it, which is probably a good idea if you want to get good content or contact. But
I think there's been some good questions that maybe, they could come in and present and answer. And
yeah, I've got
next meeting and then come back from.
I've got send you the final.
Yeah.
We sent you the contracts. So you've got those already. We'll look and try to use that to leverage to come up with a real final cost of what we need to do. I'll get the school messenger piece for sure. Ask about whether a resident can have the access. I'll send you guys the sample site.
So it says right on it, it says instant answers for families and community members.
That's true.
That's good. All right.
Yeah.
So
No,
is that again?
Very impressed. It's
Good.
really just these obstacles that feel like they need to be answered before.
That sounds great. And
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it and said, the worst case scenario is you are kind of double paying, but we do, we can.
Yeah.
The E-rate money we can use for whatever we want, but it is one source where it's kind of, I don't know if the right term is off budget.
It's
He's not gonna.
It's in a different fund. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a rebate that we get for our Comcast. Every year we just get some
Like-
money.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
It's like a,
I think to Kathleen's point for transparency, we're gonna have to know what the fees are.
Yep.
Exactly what
Then
we're
vote.
voting on.
Yeah.
Yeah, my fear, actually, now that I think of it, I didn't want to push the button too hard with them on the breaking the contract because I was, you're like, oh, then we're going to break up with you and kind of thing.
It's okay.
I didn't want to risk that.
We're
Yeah.
the customer.
Well, we
You're
also
allowed-
have
you're allowed
make
to
sure-
do that whenever you want to.
Right, that's true, but I want to make sure we have a little bit of security on our data that's lurking in there. I wonder.
Well, if you read, they can't. There's a whole term section for them that I went through. They can't just term.
Awesome.
So
Right.
unless we're not paying them,
Yep.
they can't do that. So there's no just we're considering canceling.
The
what
option.
The fees be.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, I call my cable company all the time and I'm like, I'm going to cancel this.
and I know
I
Adam
need
has,
to do that.
has
I
the
finally did it.
J in his in Milton and he.
So that's another piece. That's another important piece that glad to hear tonight, right?
Yeah, no, it
He's
sounds
in,
great.
he's in.
Sounds good.
He is.
I
Right.
think the next step is we need to find out how much it's going to cost us to cancel and we'd like to have them come in and do a presentation. for us. And then we can decide.
When's the next meeting?
2 weeks.
17.
It says it at the end of this document.
2 weeks. Yeah.
There it is.
Yep.
And then July.
And then we have a meeting in July.
Yep.
Okay,
Cool. Very helpful. Thank you.
great. Thank you. Any other subcommittee reports while we continue to hold our student council representative hostage? Just kidding. Okay, Summer.
Okay.
You.
I got a lot. So tonight, the vacul, I can never say this word,
Baccalaureate.
word.
Yeah.
Is at Kingston Congregational Church tonight at 7. I think it already
Tomorrow.
started.
Tomorrow night.
Thursday.
Tomorrow night.
I thought it was Thursday.
Today is Wednesday.
I'm graduating, guys. I'm so
You're excused. You're excused.
tomorrow is also grad practice, so students have to be here. Our seniors have to be here at 9 a.m. and we're gonna run through that, make sure everything goes smoothly. Class day, the next day, Friday. Students, all seniors have to be there at 7:20 to get ready and get into their places. The actual class day for families starts at 7:40. It goes until about 9:30, and then the seniors will be bused off to their elementary school. So Bakey and Memorial will be touring together, and then Ellis has their own bus, and Bakey Memorial will come back a little earlier, tour the middle school that bit. And then after that, so most of the grades will have a class day. Seniors can stay after to have a luncheon, and that's purely, there's no families, seniors and teachers. It is kind of like a goodbye, yearbook signing, that sort of bit. And then graduation is later Friday night. Seniors have to be there at 5 in the auditorium. An hour before graduation will start at 6. That's when families find their seats, that sort of thing. And during graduation, the junior class will be having a flower fundraiser, so you can buy them at the door and pick that up. This Saturday, softball is going to the next round of playoffs as they advance. Currently, they have 11 wins and 6 losses. It's also the drama field trip to New York. Last week, student council had a field trip in Concord, where I resigned as this student council New Hampshire Southern District president, and that was fun. And yesterday, we went, not yesterday, yes, yesterday, we came back from Acadia, and that was awesome. So the entire senior trip went, we did the ocean trail view, we went to the beach, we did at Bar Harbor. They have really good whoopie pies. This was amazing. And baseball and tennis just finished off their season. Baseball having the most wins they've had in the past few years.
Great.
And I think that's it.
Doors open at 5:30 for graduation for families.
Thank you. I just remember I was, yep.
You
okay.
have to be there at 5.
I have to be there at 5, and that's what I've been focusing on.
So parents are welcome to class day. 7 starts at 40.
It starts at 7:40. Families are welcome.
Okay.
Seniors be there at 7:20, 7:30.
And if people are looking for graduation tickets, reach out to
Joni.
Joe and Marsilia would be ideal. You can reach out to me too, because I know Nicole Cartier's got a ton going on. So I don't mind if people reach out to me. I'll just forward it to Joni.
I know Joni
Definitely
said,
have some grad tickets.
I know Joni said do it by the end of today so she can print them out. That is the deadline.
She likes me, so.
And I think that's my bit.
Thank you, Connor.
Need an app?
Who's your new friend?
Who's this?
Sorry. This is your new school board representative, Grace Gadway.
Grace.
All great.
He's on the softball team.
I am.
Fun
How do
today.
you spell your last name?
Gadway, Gadway.
Thank you.
She's so awesome, Sauce. We're on the sub team together.
Yes, we are.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
The administrative chief. She's
Good
our
hands.
Leaving engineering chief.
Okay.
Yes, we just won our softball game. Came straight
Okay.
from that at the field down there. We had actually some great support today. A lot of our seniors were there and their whole friend group. We were struggling a little bit. We faced seed number 11th, Merrimack Valley, seed 6. We had some rough batting in the beginning, and then we hit a walk off.
Ooh.
6th inning, and that was it.
Nice.
Who hit the walk off?
Arden Bryan.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
very excited.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm here to come say hi, show my face.
Awesome.
Welcome.
You guys are going to graduation. I'll see you at my fundraiser tomorrow for flowers. I'm very excited for this position.
She is working it.
Yeah.
Girls play Saturday, 4:00 in Kingswood.
Yes, we
which is
do.
up in Meredith. And I did want to also mention that the boys middle school baseball team and I'm furiously trying to find out what their record is real quick. They're the number 2 seed, but number 1 lost. So they're playing the number 8 seed or whatever, however it works out, tomorrow, I believe 3:30 over at Chase Field. It might be here.
They won yesterday. They mercied yesterday. Didn't
They did. They won big yesterday, which pushed them through. Auburn lost the number 1 seed. As I see it. So it looks like they were like 6-4, but they're playing very well right now. They're
Chase at what time?
I can't confirm it's Chase. Let me just find the tournament.
If only there was a single
It was an
unified app.
Only
There is.
Ouch.
For athletes, there is. 3:30. And
The permission slip thing is the whole thing.
And it could be at the high school because
Do you
baseball's
think we would be able to use that app to pay class dues as well?
maybe, probably.
That was one of our biggest problems. So for junior prom, obviously it just happened, very successful. A lot of parents were contacting, vice president for junior class. A lot of parents who were contacting us because in order to go to prom, you needed to pay all your class dues, which was quite the hefty check for some, as it adds up by time you
Class
reach junior
dues, so
year.
basically you pay $20 freshman year, $40 sophomore year, $60
$10
You-
freshman
oh,
year,
and
$20 sophomore
20,
year,
and
30
hit 30.
junior, 40 senior.
It adds
But-
up to like
Yeah. So by the time that students, especially in my grade, were reaching their junior prom, as there's not many other events that prompt them to pay their dues until then, other than us walking around, hey, we need your dues. A lot of parents were handing over checks to their 16-year-old students worth of up to $200. So that app would definitely help resolve some issues with that.
even if you could put it under something like field trip, class dues.
Yeah.
It mattered.
Cool.
Yeah. I like it.
Pass the torch. I'm gonna go home.
Thank you.
Awesome.
You.
And thank you for stepping
If
up.
people are looking for that middle school game, I would start at Chase tomorrow. And my hint is they practiced there today. Field here was not in use. So that gives me the hint that they're playing over there. But I've reached out to Mr. Browner to find out for sure.
Cool.
I can try to find out right now.
Yep.
Okay.
No.
Grace, would you like to stay or would you like to be excused?
I could stay.
Okay.
Great. Let's move on to new business. Now let's talk about 7.1 school lunch prices. Marie.
Yeah, so I sat down with Cara Green from Fresh Picks last week, going over some of the numbers. And I quickly put a report together here, but since you guys have it all linked, unfortunately, since when I did it last week to get it done for this week's agenda, the numbers have changed. So our negative 45,000 is actually a negative 5,300, which is better because the April revenues were not in this report when I originally did it.
Okay.
However, I'm still asking if we can increase the lunch prices by 10 cents at each location. And through the Department of Ed and the U.S. Department of Agriculture, there's a form that they have us do that's called the paid lunch equity tool. And we are not charging enough right now compared to the prices that we're charging now are short, and we need to increase them at least by 10 cents is what.
What are the prices now?
Right now, and it's only for, actually it will be for breakfast and lunch, but for high school breakfast, it's $2.50, so it would be $2.60. For high school lunch is $3.75, and it would be $3.85. Middle school breakfast is $2.50, and then it would go to $2.60. And middle school lunch is $3.50, and it's going to go to, actually, and that was my next question. Middle school and high school get the same offerings, the same portions. They're all here now. We were only charging middle school $3.50 for lunch. But if we want to line it up with the high school, it should be $3.85 for lunch, because right now the high school lunch is $3.75, but middle school is $3.50.
They get all the same.
And they get all the same offerings, everything. So it makes sense to have the same price,
I would agree.
but that's your call. Right now, I didn't do it. I just wanted to let you know that right now the middle school lunch would go to $3.60. The high school lunch would go to $3.85. And then the Memorial and Bakey, the breakfast is $2.25 and it would go to $2.35. And both of their lunches would be $3.25 to $3.35 by 10 cents.
I'll make a motion to, excuse me, correct me if I get this wrong. Make a motion to increase the lunch rates at Baking Memorial Lunch to $3.35, Baking Memorial Breakfast $2.35, middle school lunch $3.60, middle school breakfast $2.60, high school lunch $3.85, high school breakfast $2.60, correction, middle school lunch $3.85.
Yep. Second.
Do we have some discussion now that we have a seconded motion?
And the last time we raised prices, because I know Rick would ask me this question, was fiscal 24, and it was increased by 50 cents.
Yeah,
for all
we increased it a lot.
When?
2024.
Yeah.
And it was, every single one was increased by 50 cents, breakfast and lunch.
That was when I think we started the fund.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
I think we lost the funds from free and reduced lunch. Weren't we getting a grant?
We
Free
well,
bre-
we were
We
getting
had
free-
COVID funds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the state of New Hampshire decided they didn't want to
Yeah.
continue that
Yeah.
like other states, so.
And unfortunately, some parents still think it's free. So we've been jamming them with weekly emails saying that if they have negative lunch, and these totals don't include negative lunch balances. This is just the true
Yeah.
revenue and expenditures for this current year. And we ended last year at a negative, so we're just trying to stay on top of it.
Yeah. And these are very reasonable. Yeah. Yep.
Just because it helps me think in case you guys do, if we're talking 180 to
Mhm.
190 school days a year, the aggregate increase for a lunch buyer is $19
Mhm.
on an annual basis. So sub $40 for somebody who gets 100% of their meals. Just a
Mhm.
frame of context. With that, anytime anybody asks me to increase prices, I would say, are we pleased with our supplier and vendor in Fresh Picks? Is this just a food cost thing, or is there an opportunity to look to more efficient or more cost-effective food services management?
We are scheduled to go out to bid in 2 years.
We just completed an
Yeah.
thank you, extensive
Do here.
RFP.
Mhm.
And they've been,
But it's a good
They have
question.
been good.
And they're
Which
fantastic.
I have no reason to
Yep.
think otherwise.
No, it's a great question.
Always the.
Yep.
Due diligence.
Always valid.
I'm going to put her on the spot, but Grace, what do you think?
I think our lunch options are amazing, actually.
Awesome.
Every day there's at least multiple.
question.
There's your hot foods, so every meal there's so different, and then they alternate in between the wrap bar and you have your nachos, and then they have their salad bars, fruits, drinks. Everything you need is hit. They have every dietary option, and I have no complaints.
Do they have macaroni and cheese with taco meat?
That's a big hit for our up and coming.
We got,
The time.
we've only got 6 years.
Right.
the one thing I don't see on this, and again, maybe it's just that the snacks.
Well, I have no control of the snacks. These are designed
Okay,
for the lunch rates.
Okay,
but the
'cause I know, like-
snacks, I know Whitson's prices those.
like if they go up and get like a drink or like they get lunch, but then they get nachos, like that's another price. Like,
Right.
Do we control that, or is that?
okay,
That's theirs.
just want to make sure.
And then the other option is the snack shack.
Yeah.
So that's where you find like chips and just like
Mhm.
things that a lot of students love, especially the cookies.
Yeah.
They sell out every single day.
No.
Yeah, we love the cookies.
Some behind you if you want some.
I know we've been trying to encourage the people to fill out the free and reduced lunch form.
Yep.
I bet this app would help in that regard as well, pushing notifications out about that. Just saying,
It's a good point, Micah.
let me just
Point.
plug.
You can make
we have
your
Or an envelope.
Yes.
Motion on the table.
We do. Thank you.
The more we can notify the parents about the free and reduced, that would be.
We'll discuss.
Yeah.
Get more state aid for every kid.
Linking the application.
But getting back to the motion on the table.
But we
So-
went back to Apogee.
I know.
No, I just have, I always, I
Chatty
appreciate
thing.
the context that this is only, this isn't a huge increase for someone who gets stuff every day, but
Everything is additive though.
everything is additive and I don't want to I want to be very careful about making it more difficult for people to get essential things.
What I also looked at in your analysis, Marie, this is a break even per. Right.
Yeah,
So that,
and we're
that
not
is
even-
actually, I think, very important. That's a great goal for the district and our providers and the community to know this is not us. Our goal is to cover costs and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Essentially how it's exactly supposed to work.
Okay.
So I do have a thought, actually. Your original thought was raise everything 10 cents and that would help break even. But then there's also this idea that the middle schoolers and the high schoolers really shouldn't be paying a different price for the same product.
Well, it just makes sense to increase the middle school lunch at the same time where they're getting the same offerings and the same portions.
Agreed. My question though is then if we are increasing the high school lunch by 10 cents and the middle school lunch by 25 cents, are we asking for more than we need to break even?
That's a good point.
No, well, I don't think so. It just made more sense to just make them both the same.
I guess what I'm wondering is, should we not increase the high school lunch?
Yeah, I see what
Increase
you're
the
saying.
middle school lunch to match the high.
250,
Oh, 375.
375, because if we increase the middle school by that 25 cents.
True, we could keep the high school at 375 and put the middle school at 375.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll amend my motion to put the high school at 375 and the middle school lunch at
Okay.
375.
Be careful though.
Oh, okay. I'm about to rescind my motion.
The logic is sound as long as the distribution is equal.
That's right.
True,
Oh,
I
the
have
number
a
of
pro- I have an
students.
issue
Very
with
true.
this.
because
Alright,
there's
so-
less middle school students than there are high school students.
And
So do we have to make this decision tonight?
No,
Okay, so I'm gonna rescind my motion and then I think those are all valid points. And I think it's an easy vote next time once you run the numbers.
Yeah, I think we just need to see if the maths.
okay.
Right.
And there is a consideration which strikes me the wrong way, and I don't know if it should, of putting the burden on one class of people, i.e. middle school students, to rectify something. You know what I mean?
The numbers that I ran didn't include the middle school jumping up to the extra 25 cents to meet the high school. The numbers that I ran indicated that we had to increase each location by 10 cents.
Yeah.
We could just go back and just leave them all at 10 cents, even though they are getting the same offerings and portions. It did run the totals and made it work that we should increase every 10 cents.
There's got to be a reason for that. Was it because middle schoolers
I
eat
think-
less?
I don't.
There has to be a reason they arrived at that.
They were at a different location and that.
My middle schooler.
It was probably about, but at the middle, when they were at the old middle school campus, they had less
choices.
Right. Because they didn't have.
Okay.
They didn't have the salad.
They didn't have they didn't.
Right. Yeah. So we're using an old system to implement current prices.
Yes.
And we're trying to take and bring current pricing to the current system.
Correct.
So then that's what we should do.
If we're going to amend this.
I'm not making any more. I'm gonna text it. It looks like the game is at Chase Field.
Yep.
And it's definitely at Chase Field.
All right, so are we going to wait and hold off and I'll run the numbers again, or are we just going to increase everything by 10 cents?
I love the idea of the middle school and the high school paying the same cost for the same product.
Yes.
I love the idea of raising what we need to raise to break even.
Yep.
I don't think it makes sense to ask for more than we need to break even. And so that was my thought on
Agree.
not raising the high
Okay.
school.
So could you
Totally agree with.
run the numbers,
Yeah.
what it would be to bring the middle school to the high school, and then what else do we need to rate? Like, do we only need to
Yeah.
do 5 cents
Yep.
versus kind of what the
Yep.
numbers would be for
And
that?
remember, pennies don't exist anymore.
Yeah, we got to go in multiples of
Don't pay
5.
cash.
Okay.
And this is just for context, this is amazing to me. There's not a military base in the country feeding thousands, millions of military members that can do it at this cost. Okay, that's first off, and not for the options. I've come in there and seen what the options that we have are amazing at this school, and so those options at this cost and the quality of food, I am blown away. So that shouldn't be lost.
Are you saying we should raise the prices?
$5.
I'm saying we need to come and eat here.
Let's go.
Could pay for the website? No.
Yeah,
It's
we can
like-
break even on this whole thing.
So the things that they, like the food that they put out,
Yeah.
like even for us, like,
Yeah.
they're fabulous.
It's incredible. Yeah. I'm impressed.
I just got to learn how to make the cookies at home.
So we're in the final analysis here, we're gonna look at how we can minimally and equitably raise the prices to be what they need to be.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Marie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
We got there.
Next. Well, I imagine we might not have a first public comment now since I stole it from Scott. But public comment, it is time. It is time for first public comment.
Definitely tell us your name.
Make it brief.
You might not know. Scott Rollins, I'm from Newton. I have no students in the district. I just want to echo what Micah said about making this app website thing accessible to people that don't have students, because I do not have any students and I would really like to know the information and I want to know how I would be able to get that. I was at the select board meeting 2 weeks ago, and I know they just recently updated their website, and I'm wondering if it makes sense as being a taxpayer asking me to pay another potentially $14,000 us collectively, where we're about 80 or 85% of the population that doesn't have students in this district, is a pretty big ask. And I know it's small potatoes in the 41 million.
Thank you.
But it's still a pretty big ask, and not having any access to it would be detrimental, I think, to the community. So I know, Jeremiah, you said it does include community, but I would like to know how that's going to happen, A. And B, can it be integrated into the town's website as well? Maybe there's some sort of link to be able to upload it off of the town's website, coordinating with that group. And same thing with Kingston. I don't go to Kingston's meetings, but I know that they'd be thrilled to maybe collaborate on that so that they can get that community outreach there. Because I know also that taxes is a big deal. And I know you guys have talked about it a lot in the stewardship that you guys are using. So I think that the taxpayers would really want to know why we're spending another potential $20,000, $30,000 on a website or an app that I can't use. So
I did hear back interestingly from Andrea Lancey, who was probably, I assume, listening while she drove home as opposed to watching, but she said anyone can download the app and they can choose which schools they want to follow.
No.
On the app.
From the Play Store, the app stores.
Yep, App Store,
Yeah.
probably.
On the App Store.
I still think it would be really beneficial to integrate it with the town's website as well, somehow, some way, if that's possible.
Yeah. Link it or
Some sort of link or something where you can say, hey, you want to know what's going on in our school district?
Yeah.
Boom, here's an app
Here's
you
a
can
link to the
get,
school.
Yep.
get a level of access
Just
to.
a link.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Even if there's just a link.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
People moving to the town. Hey, I'm going to move to Kingston or Newton, right? Where my kid's going to go to school. Oh, there's the link. Oh, there's
Considering moving to the
Yeah.
district.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of flexibility that you can do with that, but I really think it's important to engage that 80% of taxpayers that don't have students here. And
This is
be able to tout I've said it before, be able to tout all the really great things that are happening in Sanborn. So, thank you.
Scott, one point of clarification. I just want to make sure because you said something. The cost of this new program was an additional 1,000 to what we're paying today.
Yes.
The cost to break the current contract could be 14, could be 7, could be 0
Right.
if it's negotiated properly, right?
Sure.
So it could be it could be 0.
Which would be great.
We don't know yet.
I'm all for that, not paying any more money.
But your point is taken really well about making sure that people who may not have, students in the district get the value that exists for them for their tax dollars, because there is value to get for the money that they pay.
Absolutely.
Right.
1,000%. So thank you.
By engaging.
Yeah.
School.
Thanks, Scott.
Good. All right.
One more.
I was going to say, do we have another public comment?
Joe LaValle. I have 3 kids in the district. Hopefully after Friday it will just be 2.
He made
Fingers crossed.
Good.
Which actually brings me up here from my question. Last night on the Class of 26 Facebook page, we had a little bit of confusion because one of the selectmen from Newton brought up the point that we weren't sure that the kids were going to be graduating on Friday. He said, from the kids, we don't have enough hours for the state to allow us to graduate. And the principal sent out an email last night saying that the kids had to come in for breakfast today. So we were just looking for some sort of a clarification as to what happened. How come the school board didn't know why they had to come in this morning at 8 a.m.? Just everybody was a little confused on the Facebook page. So we were just looking for any type of clarification, basically.
Yeah, so I'll let Bob answer the specific question. I'll just say to community, because Dan sent that email to me first and called me.
Yeah.
I did not have information. For that, I apologize. I don't believe the board did. And that is, that's a problem. And it's something that we're going to have to address. It's just a lack of communication, and it shouldn't have happened. There should have been some communication sent out, in my opinion, respectfully to the parents, not just the children. And Bob can, if he can give you the reason, I still am not clear, to be honest.
So our last day of school is on a Friday.
Yeah.
State law allows us to graduate our students 5 school days early, which is what I'll say most school districts adhere to, but not everybody does. The way the senior schedule is developed inadvertently left no events on Wednesday. So we had a bit of a panic moment on Tuesday when we figured it out, because it's sort of like, it's harder to miss something that doesn't exist. If you're looking at the calendar and you're like, well, there's a thing there, you sort of account for it. When there's nothing there, we just didn't make the connection that there wasn't anything there. So we had a bit of a panic moment where we were a little worried that we were going to be doing something that we shouldn't, and we try to follow the rules. So at the last minute, we added a breakfast event for the kids. We also had their yearbooks were delayed, so that was kind of fortuitous. It gave the kids a chance to come in this morning. I didn't have a chance to get over here for it, but my understanding is the kids were here for about an hour and 45 minutes. They had a really good time signing yearbooks and enjoying their company of their peers. They got back from the kids, even on the trip last night, got back around 11 o'clock. So it wasn't like, they got in at 3 a.m. We wanted them here at 8 or anything like that. The notification went out to the students. That's kind of typical for a change in schedule. You just send something like that out to the students. Questions were raised about it, whether we should communicate it to the parents or not. And that communication did go out a little later than obviously we would have liked. And we apologize for that confusion that people had. We did inform the students of the situation. I asked Mr. White to talk to the kids on the bus or before they got on the bus, knowing that the 65% of the class that was on the trip would then have a better understanding of what the problem was and why we were asking them to come in today. And like I said, they came in very good spirits. It was an error on our part, and I can only apologize to the community for that mistake that we made.
Okay.
And actually the better news was they were able to integrate, a bonus is they were able to integrate one of the biggest time consuming pieces of the graduation rehearsal process. They got that done today. If you go down to the gym, you'll see all the seats are already labeled where all the kids are going to sit. They got that piece out of the way, and that usually takes a good half hour. So we're going to be able to kick the kids tomorrow faster than normal once we teach them how to walk in a straight line and sit in a chair, which some people are laughing because you've been to a grad rehearsal. That's pretty much all it is. And the good thing is the 3 smartest kids in the class are leading the line. So it makes it easy to get it done. So that was a bonus. The kids, and I just say, we messed up, we apologize. And it turned into a really positive thing for the kids.
Good to know.
No problem.
Can I speak or should I go? Because I'm going to speak as a mom.
You should go over there, please. And thank you.
Heather Ingham, Newton, New Hampshire. I, as a fellow senior mom, was very concerned that a lot of the information is being funneled down from the students to the parents. There was not a lot of information on the senior trip. We didn't know what hotel they were staying at. We didn't know who chaperones were. I've given this feedback through the proper channels, but I do think we really need to, I'm hoping for websites and more things, but as a senior parent, we have gotten very little information, and it has been funneled down through the kids directly, which, my kid is 18. He's legally an adult. He can sign his own field trip. But we do have a policy in place that says parents will be notified and no things will happen without parental notification.
Thank you, Heather.
And I do know, at least I believe that there was a detailed scheduling out to everybody, parents and kids, for the next 2 days of what's exactly going on.
Yes, we did.
To
Got
fix that. So
we
the
got
feedback
that.
was heard and did get cycled through. So the team we have in the administrative group is pretty new at doing this. Like, I'm going to be living here the next 2 days to make sure graduation gets squared away, because I've been doing graduations for 20, 25 years to make sure it all runs right. And a lot of them haven't really been in that situation.
Hi, Gretchen Solomon, Newton, New Hampshire, high school math teacher. I was on the senior class trip with our kiddos. They had so much fun, but I wanted to share a story with you. We did a little bit of a change and decided to head back a little early, and we stopped at Dysart's truck stop in Herman, Maine. And we called ahead. They had everything prepared. We came in with 68 people. They had a whole half of the restaurant ready for us. The kids came in, they sat down. There were a couple people in our section, and an older couple got up to leave, and they came over to the chaperone table, and they just wanted to tell us how happy they were that we came in, because the kids were just delightful, and they were happy, and they were having a great time and just talking with each other and engaging, because they were retired teachers and really missed being with the kids. So I just wanted to share that story because it was a very positive ending to a great, great trip. The kids had a great time, and I hope to go again next year.
Gretchen, thank you so much for chaperoning.
Yeah. We had
My
a-
son said he had a great time.
Oh, it was a blast. They had a really great time.
Thanks, Gretchen.
Cool sweatshirt, Gretchen.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And if anybody hasn't ever been to a Dysart's, it's really the experience.
Yeah.
Dysart's, it's like a gas station, truck stop, restaurant,
Never been there.
iconic down East Maine
Better than Bucky's.
experience.
Whoa.
Hello. Say it.
Whoa.
Yeah, you heard me.
He said
I
it.
was going to ask if it was better than Bucky's.
That's right.
He said it.
Dysart's is perfect.
That's the place to go.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Not gonna lie, I was a little worried when I saw that you guys were in a truck stop when I did.
And had you been there, you'd have been worried too. But it all works out.
Awesome.
It was things that a lot of schools do.
Is it the one close to the fireworks place? To Phantom Fireworks, kind of across the street?
Oh, geez.
No, it's one right off 95.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
All right. Okay, let's if no other public comment, let's move on to old business and an update on the summer enrichment program.
Summer enrichment. Where are my notes on summer enrichment? I've only looked at them 4 times today. I think close to oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. The email blast went out on Tuesday, May 26th. We also sent it out again yesterday, or excuse me, Monday afternoon at 4:30. Registration is underway. We got 5 registrations almost immediately within the first 30, 35 minutes or so. And we are currently sitting at 7 registrations total. 4 for theater camp, 1 for the college essay writing program, and 2 for 5 big bugs. If people want to push that out in other ways on the Facebook and so forth, that would obviously be very helpful for us to do that. One thing I can tell you is we're looking at moving the college essay writing to a different week because we got some feedback from some parents saying, hey, these kids happen to be away. So we've talked to the instructor about popping that into the second week, and we'll push that out to the high school kids and their parents to let them know that we're going to reach out to the one kid that did register and see if we can move that to the second week. So not moving as fast as we would like to have the program run. We're not even close to the minimums at this point.
What's the due date?
Good question. June 10th at noon was the prescribed date.
Last day to do anything.
That
All
is-
good.
For that from baseball sign up.
That is true.
It's all good in the hood. So
There was speaking of the Facebook, there was some chatter about the increased prices and discontent. So that could be a factor too, but a vocal minority perhaps.
Well, yeah,
but
there was one suggested post that the people that were chattering should probably watch the past
meeting.
board meetings to understand that the district is losing substantial money, and that's why the increases were put in place.
That's right.
How many people signed up for big bugs?
2.
2. Because it's 5 big bugs. Was that the name of it?
Correct. So there's 2 kids and $5.
3 short right now.
That's true. We're only 3 short.
Okay.
I don't know if the Bugs are going to pay though.
I think some of the things that you'd asked us to do as a community members is to try and talk about this. out
Yep.
in the world. We've tried to do that, which is great. It has been useful to remind folks, just like our school lunch program, that the desire for the district's summer enrichment program is not to make dollars like any other private sector, but to have a break-even program for those who want to be involved and not incur costs for those who do not want to be involved. We had that discussion here multiple times.
We did.
I think it's important to reiterate that to everybody.
Same.
Second piece of feedback for next year, I think we just have to be earlier in releasing sign-up dates. I have heard a lot of positive feedback on programs for folks who wish they could sign up, but they had already made previous commitments at that specific time frame.
Sure.
So that's just something for us to all keep in mind. We were all part of that kind of conversation, but the earlier the better. And maybe we could target summer program release dates for our other kind of local programs, whether that's Camp Lincoln or whatever. So it kind of all goes out at once. So parents can choose from the menu of options.
Chris, did you have? Oh, go ahead.
So I agree with that a lot. Through roles in class council, I end up pushing a lot of things out to the Facebook. And contacting parents. And a lot have wished that in future years it is pushed out earlier, since junior year is so important to learn how to write those college essays and do your score sheets and everything. That class can be very beneficial, but a lot of people, even myself, I can't attend that said date because it was pushed out just a little too late for some.
Thank you.
That's good feedback.
Thank you.
I think historically we've tried to get it out earlier, but I think this year we were really
Yeah, we're
evaluating if
messing around.
To do it. Yeah.
so. But we will hopefully, if this is successful, we can get it out earlier next year.
Okay. Marie and Heather, do we have an update on the SLC
We do, but
meeting?
it needs to happen more in non-public.
Okay.
I did receive a question from one of the selectmen yesterday via phone. And for clarification, I've made some comments, and I just want to make, because I went back and watched, and my comments have been consistent. My comments have been that if we open up this contract, provisions of this contract for SLC, that we would open up all provisions of that contract. For some reason, and I haven't spoken to them, for some reason they thought that I had said that I was going to open up all contracts, meaning the contract with Newton and stuff. First of all, I don't have the power to do that, but I never said that. So I just wanted to make a point of clarification that it was solely the provision.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
That's what I recall.
very clear
Yeah.
that it would be what the contract between the Newton Police Department and the SLC is not our purview. We would potentially open up our contract
with SLC.
with SLC.
Yeah.
Marie and I were both very clear about that.
Yeah. Well, I recall, Scott, your comments about, collaboration with the towns, and I keep that in the back of my mind. I just want to, it's again, point of clarification that wasn't my intention.
Yeah.
There are things, but we cannot talk about them
Okay.
publicly.
Let's move on. End of year funds.
Sure. So probably a big discussion this evening is looking at the use of the end of the year funds. I've sent out in the last, actually, I believe middle of last week, a couple of documents. First was a proposed, literally, honest to goodness, ChatGPT produced this for me because I don't really know a whole lot about this stuff. A matrix that was really looking at repairs versus maintenance versus capital improvements. And if it costs this amount of money, it should be looked at this way and voted that way. So that's one item that I don't necessarily think is super pressing this evening. I think that we have a more pressing need to identify what we are going to take on for significant spending toward the end of the year that looks at those very areas, repairs, maintenance, and potentially a capital improvement, everything from, a small painting project to a relatively small painting project to potentially replacing the boiler system at the memorial school. So they, run the gamut from 8,500 to $800,000 kind of items. These are decisions I think the board needs to make because we're talking about using end of the year funds. You received 3 lists, 3 basically ways that it's broken down. I didn't receive any requests for other kind of ordering. One was the priority list that we had initially come up with at the SAU level. The second was that list broken down by location and then by ranked by our priority. And the third, which was the most significant, I think, upgrade in information, was to take the pieces of the capital improvement plan as it exists, the latest one that I was sent, and break those out. So, and give you a total for, let's say we took all the items off of Section A of the capital improvement plan. That's only $15.2 million. Obviously, we don't have that amount of money, but just to give you an idea of how to break that out. And right now, our most recently updated current projected unspent fund balance, I'm going to say the wrong word, is $3.47 million at the end of the year. So theoretically, you could choose to spend all of that, and theoretically, you could choose to spend none of that or something in between. 2 other points that we wanted to clarify, and I did let the board know that first, that we've already accounted for the boiler and pump project at the Bakey School, the installation of the propane tanks at the Bakey School, and the CKLA materials, which were paid for out of the facilities use revolving fund, and the Chromebooks for Bakey School, which were there, also purchased out of that same fund. And that also that the reserve trust funds that were voted as separate warrant articles on the warrant in March are accounted for in that 3.47 million. So we don't have to start by taking off 380,000 or whatever the number was. That's already come off of there at the top. So the board, at its discretion, has $3.47 million to take a look at what they want to do with that. I think, and I've just said this before, so I'll just reiterate that. I think it's either decisions are made on how that is willing to be spent. The other option would be to say we would like to get that number down. I'll just use a nice round number of $3 million we want to give back, or $2 million we want to give back, and give the discretion to, say, Dan, in consultation with me or whomever, to decide what projects to do. But I think ideally tonight we would take a real strong look at what the board's, I don't want to say desire, but their choices are as far as using those end of the year funds.
So I'll just start off real quick. And this is just my opinion. The end of year funds, it's not a question of what we're going to spend. It's what does the district need, rather than giving the money back to both communities who drastically need it. And I heard something, I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago, give you back $1 today and ask you for $2 tomorrow. I think you said that, James, right?
I did. Say that.
Yeah, you did. And it was good because it's true.
It is true. Siding.
Yeah.
We had that experience earlier this evening.
Yeah.
With the siding. That doesn't guide us one way or another, but we should be eyes wide open.
I'm not going to go through my list because James had sent a list to a few of us. And except for 2 things, our lists were identical, even to the fact of the truck and the body getting replaced, like identical. I had 2 more things on there. So I'm not going to go through my list because it's
Are there
very
emails
similar.
sent to specific board members, but not all of us?
Facilities
Wanna make sure people are-
and
Facilities
finance.
committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Facilities and finance. So if you want to, I don't know how we want to go about this, but I thought your list was well thought out. It was smaller dollar items that are going to have an impact. The ones that you didn't choose, I thought your logic that you put in red next to them were very good. They were all mostly in line. The only thing I had on mind were the dugouts, just because I heard safety concern.
Mhm.
And I had one of those on. But our lists were almost identical.
Great. So maybe I can frame it up a little bit, and I'm happy to share this with everybody.
Make sure that people are not working outside of their committees or outside, because that.
No, it's
like,
within.
that is
the-
against the law.
Yep, totally within.
We just said working within the committee.
which is the job of
Yeah.
the facilities committee to make some recommendations. And to be fair, I did not do this until yesterday. So
Correct.
the timing was not right. So not even Dan can see it. But in general, my thought process was utilizing some of the criteria that Dr. Dawson put together, which, we can maybe tweak a few words, but in general, dead on. I think that's great. So I appreciate that. Is for right now, for end of year funds, we focus on comparatively small dollar, high value projects, which are really maintaining our existing facilities, our existing equipment, our existing stuff, and avoiding either safety issues or minimizing further damage while we then get through the next large major capital improvement project. And I just want to be like wildly transparent with everybody. This school district will need to spend millions of dollars in the near term, 1 to 5 years, to maintain the functionality of the district, no matter what we do to them. So I'm not quite sure how to proceed with this. Like what?
Well, the one thing I want to add though, which is great about your logic about forward looking and enrollments and stuff. Like there's a lot of things that weren't selected that, I don't know how you want to go about it.
I think it might be good to start the way maybe at a higher 30,000 foot level and say, from a finance and facilities lens, there's a list that the facilities and finance committee would recommend to the board to be the things that we do. What is the total dollar cost of that? Yeah, let's get a big picture first.
You reviewed the list?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want me to just give the dollar
And I'm aligned with it.
Yeah. So the dollar amount that James had suggested to be spent on district projects, and I can go through the list, or James can. It'd probably be better if he did it because he's that's well versed. Is $840,000, $840,753, which would return to residents roughly 2.
So if I can just say, so for somebody who's not in the finance and facility subcommittee anymore, so we have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Oh, I
right?
understand.
Well, no, yeah, no,
and so if I can say thank you guys, because as Bob started talking about how we're going to spend end of year, my comment, I just asked Rick offline. I said, didn't we ask this to go through finance and facilities first, and then propose to the broader board,
It
right?
wasn't on the agenda.
Yep. So is this something that between this week and 2 weeks, the rest of us can get that and look at it and then present next, or is that too late? Does that propose a
We're cutting it
challenge?
close. We need to get purchase orders done before the end of the fiscal year so we can roll the money.
Okay. So does that mean tonight you all want to present? And because right now we're just flying blind.
Yeah.
It's okay.
What I wanted,
It's the same list.
I think we
right?
need to present the list tonight. I just wanted to get a big picture of what the list means first.
Okay.
Right. It means roughly 2.5 million would go back to taxpayers.
Yep.
And maybe because we've all seen the total list that Bob and Dan have put together. So the big difference was, I do not think we should move ahead with the middle school boiler replacement project right now as part of this fund. That was a single project, which is, I think, $150,000. Now, that does not mean that those boilers don't need to be replaced. I think they do. Memorial School. Yeah, I totally agree that that's a problem that must be solved. I don't think that end of year funds under a maintenance or continuing operations is the appropriate way for that level of expenditures. So that came out in my recommendation.
The memorial boilers and splits.
Correct.
The cost we have here on the thing is 730,000.
Thank you.
All the more.
But that's a big
That's a
dollar
big,
number.
yeah.
But things, and I'll just maybe run down, and again, this is all, you've seen this list, and it's pretty close to the recommended priorities of the district. minus that boiler. That was the big thing. And then there were a few additions. Is it appropriate to just run down?
I think go through, yeah.
You too.
Which, if I may,
I
which
guess if we could
spreadsheet
see
you looking
what
at?
you're working off, that
Yeah.
would be.
Could you,
It's the same list that Bob sent out.
It's Bob's list.
It's Bob's list.
Which tab though?
The tab would be the priorities by SAU priority.
Okay.
Okay.
I gotta check my math on that
first,
So the,
just to be sure. It looked, it got a little wonky on me, I think.
this,
Yep.
right?
I can. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, put it up.
End of year, this one here. This one or this one?
while he's setting that up, my,
3 spreadsheets.
Yep.
This one here. That one.
Yep, that's it. That's the list.
Okay.
That is the SAU priority. Yep.
And this is the one that he has comments on.
He is added his to this.
I think it's only on his screen.
Yeah, I don't know. He's gonna put it up.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
it's basically in the same. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fancy lights.
Did it?
I know.
Wow.
Did it go on?
Good job, Dan.
Oh, the clapper has been disabled.
Still works.
Oh yeah, I like this.
Okay, so this is, thank you. This is the list that Bob had sent to the entire board. Supported by a large group, including Dan and the whole team putting this together. And we've seen this as a large group.
Heather,
Yeah.
I have to take a quick break.
Sure.
We just wait
Sure can.
1 minute. Is it okay? Who's gone?
Yeah.
Heather, I have to take a, oh, yeah. Yeah, I just want to wait.
James, can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Where it says 100% up under insert, make that like, you can go to 90. And I think that'll pull it in a little bit. And then on the far right below the J, there's a little triangle there just below that. Click on that little up arrow and that'll just give us more screen.
Remember when you were giving me sass about you were not sassing. Remember when I was talking about Excel versus Google last time? This is all
I
new.
lived in Excel forever and then I got, sucked in by the fact that the free version.
I'm trying to keep up, but that's why, to be totally transparent, I created my own copy of this. Same thing, just
Yeah.
because I'm uncomfortable. I want to see that uncomfortable.
I understand. Yeah.
That's the whole reason why.
Yeah. I've been living in the other CIP list for a while. So something got a little goofy with the math that I'm just making sure is right. So yep.
For anyone watching, streaming, watching at home, we're just taking a couple of minutes of a break to get the spreadsheet that we're all looking at projected and make sure all board members are back and seated before we continue.
Oh, yeah.
It will be just a moment.
You were like softball games, spreadsheets, maintenance things.
Yeah, I'm glad they hit that walk off. And I was like, great, now I can go.
We were all glad about the one.
Yes.
All right, Heather's back. Hello. All right,
We beat Kingswood this
James, let's do it.
Okay.
We did.
Cool.
Thank you.
So this was the original list, organized and
By
Dr.
priority.
Thompson said by SAU priority, by location priority, and by capital improvement by inclusion. So no differences in line items or dollar values, just differences in organization. And again, just because of my own discomfort with Google spreadsheets, I didn't want to break all of this work. All I did was copy exactly the SAU priority list to add my own recommendations and comments on why. So just to orient folks here, we have our school in column B, project in column C, a delineation of this, a quote versus an actual estimate provided by a contractor, and projected cost. And this was all work that the facilities team and Dan and the district did.
Saying the ones he wants.
Column F, this is just a very simple checkbox to say include or not include. This is our balance right here, updated May 29th. The aggregate value of all of the projects that need to be done at some point or another with our existing facilities 22.4 million. And again, my current recommendation, speaking just as one member of this board, puts us right around here for right now, leaving a potential return of 2.5. Again, I followed the majority of so the light switching system replacement, there's really high value there. Concrete loading dock, that's a safety issue. Worse. Siding, we heard about that, not recommended, so not included in that. Obviously, but making progress on getting us the inevitability of that project. This greenhouse is going to be awful if we don't take action. I heard and saw and agreed.
Is that the outside one or the one
No.
upstairs?
Up there.
The one that we've been talking about for about 4 years?
That's a good point. It's not that little outside.
Side note, is it on the siding, we need to roll the greenhouse in that on another. Does that make sense? Because you'd have to take the siding off, reflash the greenhouse, put a roof on it and everything. So those two projects should run congruent for the time.
So we should probably then include that into the warrant article?
Yes.
Okay, so here. Well, then maybe we put the number, we're talking about the
Here it
dugouts.
is.
Starting numbers.
I double checked it,
Sure.
put it down.
And just for clarity, as we go through this, any changes that I made as compared to your recommendations, I just highlighted in red.
He said he did it yesterday.
Okay.
It's updated.
Exterior paint at Bakey, low value, low dollars, high value. Memorial parent drop off at that awning post. I think that that is an important recommendation and risk. We've read some recent articles across the state about what happens when your athletic trainer cannot safely and quickly get the student athletes there. So that makes tons of sense. I pulled out, for total transparency, the Bakey library furniture. I'm in a very much a need versus want. Rotting wood here, you know, again, these are estimates, so these numbers are not exact. We can't expect our facilities team to be perfect on these types of estimates, but I think these are low dollar, high value. I did not include these two dugouts in my recommendations. We had heard safety issues, and I want to just highlight one of the ideas that we heard from board member Kathleen, suggesting that these dugouts absolutely need to be replaced. But these particular projects could potentially, they need to be done, and they could potentially be done utilizing community involvement and fundraising, either through sports groups, parents groups, even local contracting companies. So that's not a decision, but Kathleen, I thought you had a fantastic idea there and it was worth exploring, but these projects also need to be done. You want to spend some time on those items or just go through the whole thing and then go back?
I will just say there is only one sports booster, maybe two, in the entire middle high school. They disbanded their sports boosters for a lot of sports, and I don't know why. So yes, we could get community involvement, but there's not a donor pool to start.
Not a guarantee.
Yeah, right. We would have to really kind of start from the beginning.
And I've seen some things about being cautious about Title IX considerations where if you're going to do one sport, you want to do the parallel sport. It may not apply so much, but it's just something to think about down.
This was the big change from the district's recommendations. And again, that need is real. I just don't think that it's an appropriate time or use of our existing budget dollar to do a project of that scale. Again, the rooftop units, that's another inevitability that was not recommended. But I think it's useful as we go through this to look at that number because that is in our future. Dump truck, this was a higher number.
It's like 100.
That was 100.
120.
And
Yeah,
120.
that was 110. I think we can meet your functionality by getting the wrap up on top of that.
Are we talking the pickup truck or the?
No, the one out.
Mitch's truck.
No, that's
No,
not.
this is a dump truck.
Talking about the one that was out here that the truck itself is good, but with the body could be replaced.
It was the
That's
low
what we talked
mileage truck.
It's about 50,000 on it.
Yep, yeah, that's low mileage.
And we need a dump body.
Yep.
So you're suggesting replacing the dump body?
Correct, yeah.
Well, that's your recommendation.
Yep, that's a recommendation. And then what else? The chimney approval, again, that's bricks are falling off. That's fairly low dollars if you demo it. I think your recommendation, Dan, is you could probably get that done less than this. This painting number, again, that was an attempt, and this will likely change, to buy us time for the inevitable siding replacing project. I don't know.
No, that's not for the siding. That's for doorways, metal, posts, columns.
Well, it still protects those things, which I think.
Right.
So I think that that's a good project. You guys should do it. Same thing with the middle, these doors and awnings. The doors we saw, these were all, again, fairly small dollar but high value. We're seeing rust, we're seeing water intrusion. If we don't do this, the problems will be worse. And all of these things fit neatly into anybody's definition of regular ongoing maintenance.
You're gonna give Dan his hose.
You got
It's on there.
The hose.
Yeah.
Got the hose.
I might, and that was pretty much it. Yeah. And there's a lot more projects, so I'm not sure how you want it, but that's,
None of them were Swayze, correct?
correct.
Yeah.
None on Swayze.
There was something for.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, there was. There was paint. You had some paint stuff.
I was looking, there's paint and I think there are, wood, so there's
All,
rotten wood.
all the paint
Paint.
doors,
Yes.
yeah, but there were some.
No
larger-
replacement doors, no replacement windows, nothing on that building.
So my question is, if that building's gonna be torn down in 5 years anyways, do we just let it keep rotting away and just 5 years not put any money into that building?
I think that that's a potential, right? And for $8,000 worth of paint, in a 5-year timeframe. That's a path you could take.
It needs to go up higher. It says mid.
Change it cheap for resale value.
I think he's got that checked off.
It's gonna be torn down.
Maybe not. I hope so. Can you scroll that back at the top? I'm trying to make sure we match. Okay, thank you.
My concern is, with the thing at Swayze is obviously,
Bless you.
helping that property. When you deal with a slum-like looking building, how's that for his resale or sale of his properties there?
You don't have.
So I'm confused because I'm recommending you do that.
Yeah.
Well,
He's including the
I get it.
For that reason.
materials
For that
I
reason,
just think it's
right.
useful, like.
the ELA materials.
It's
It's off by 100.
See where you're going with this.
Including ELA materials.
That's if we renew the contract in December.
Right.
So.
Thank you. Off by 149.
Did you want to say?
Yeah,
We're standing.
So we got this. Okay. So we've seen James' recommendation.
My math doesn't match. And it's off by quite a bit.
He changed the value of some things. Did you catch that?
I did catch that. So we changed the value of the dump truck to 45K.
That was it. Let's see. This is the other library.
I can't change them.
One,
Is any of this up to debate or is this just recommendation?
Well, yeah, I think these are recommendations. That's what they asked for.
I found
The,
I'm
the,
good.
Yeah,
it was my math.
we're being asked to make a decision,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I heard the comments about Swayze being torn down in 5 years. I haven't heard that from Chinburg yet. Might be beneficial for him to come and tell us that, but I think the recommendations are being made based upon a decision having to be made today.
I think 45,000 on a dump body in that truck is a waste of taxpayers. It's a third of the cost of a new truck with multiple bodies. So The truck has already got 50,000 miles on it. These are all hard miles, especially that truck, because it's the truck we use for pushing snow, earth, salt, everything else. I'll be surprised if we get 100,000 miles out of that vehicle, period. So to put $45,000 into a vehicle that maybe replacing in another 2 years anyways, I think is a waste of money. Like I said, for 45,000, we're almost a third of the way there for a new truck. It's the way I think taxpayer money is spent.
As someone who runs a fleet of 210 vehicles across the state, I have taken this exact approach multiple times and managed to have the same exact class of vehicle.
Yeah,
So
but
that's where that comes from.
yeah,
It comes
but
from, it's not.
I get it, but our fleet is a little bit different. We punish our vehicles. We punish them with snow. So you're driving them from A to B with equipment and everything, and I get it, but we literally punish our vehicle.
So one of the questions I was having as we went through this list is, I think it's what James' list shows, in my perspective, is a really smart approach to how to ensure that taxpayers get much needed tax relief and that we don't overspend just simply because the money is there. Yet we take into account critical projects that are not just important, but also that can be done with relatively, in the grand scheme, low dollar amounts compared to some of the other projects, but will have high benefit, as James described. If Dan, or if our, as a facilities manager, if he sat here and said, I agree with, I would move these check boxes around in his expert opinion, I don't have any problem with that. I think as a board, what we really should be focusing on is the what, and give recommendations to Dan to figure out the how, but ultimately trust him with the how for a lot of this. That's my perspective. Because I would have a problem if Dan was like, well, it's actually going to be 1.5 million instead of 800. Then we got issues, right? But if he's still going to spend what we're comfortable spending on what he deems to be the most important things, which probably lines up pretty close to what we've got here, then I would be comfortable with that.
And that was, just to be totally clear, that was my intent.
Of course, yes. I don't think you meant to be prescriptive at all. Yes, exactly. Right. So I just want to make sure that I think our function here is much more about deciding what we're comfortable, a dollar amount that we are comfortable putting towards projects, than getting into too much of the minutia of how those dollars are spent on particular projects. Especially because we will know that none of them is frivolous. They're all important. So we don't have to worry about not being good stewards of taxpayer dollars.
But we do have to be very transparent on how we're spending it, which
Yeah.
is what
Yeah.
this
Needs to be done.
mess is doing.
Yes. No, I'm not saying
I
that.
don't think anybody's
That's
trying
no
to tell
problem.
Dan how,
No.
I think all I hear is how much we appreciate and applaud your efforts and that of the team. I don't think anybody, hopefully you're not taking it that way. We're not trying to tell you how to do your job, or we know your job better than you. We asked for a list. You gave us a list. And now the list is got a dollar figure based upon projects that you put forth. That's where it's at. So to your point, there's a dollar figure. To my point, there's extensive transparency to
Mhm.
taxpayers.
That's great.
The process we went through to arrive at that dollar figure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my point is I want people to know that if it turns out that the same money gets returned to taxpayers, yet some of the projects end up being different, then that's a possibility based on what Dan deems is necessary.
A priority could change
Yeah,
tomorrow.
exactly. Yeah.
And they do on a weekly basis.
Agreed, 100%.
And with that in mind, I would actually suggest that this is not, if the potential outcome is a motion for a vote to expend X dollars, I think we should give some flexibility on the ceiling here, primarily because, as Dan says, priorities change every week and happen, and many of these things are estimates. I think pretty accurate estimates, but they are just that, estimates, pricing statement. So I want to provide some flexibility and freedom, knowing that things will change. So.
I'd go back to that original, the 100 that you took out, which was 840.
Yep.
That would give Danielle autonomy to get the truck. If that's what you deem appropriate for your fleet. If there's other projects that you think that 100 grand could be better used for, then
Yeah, just to be clear, as far as a new dump truck, I'm okay with going another year or two on that dump truck. I just think it's silly to spend money on a bed of a truck or a dump body on it.
Yeah.
On an old chassis. That's foolish in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'd rather limp the truck along we have another year or two, hoping we get through, rather than putting good money after bad money.
Yeah.
Now Mitch's truck, on the other hand, that pickup truck definitely needs to replace
100%.
57,000, just because I need
100%.
snow removal truck. I've only got 3 in my fleet right now that can move snow, and I have 5 properties that I have to clear. It just, I had 2 salt trucks, and I only have 1 right now. With Mitch's truck, that would add a second salt truck. So there really is.
I had a visible reaction when James talked about being creative with the truck situation. Is it possible to get a new dump truck, but use the old dump truck body as Mitch's truck?
Well,
I don't know what I'm talking about in this area. I'm just curious.
The old truck and just put a new dump body on there, because the one that's on there is rusted out. And my thought is it'd be foolish to spend that kind of money on a new dump body to go on to a chassis that we're going to probably replace in another.
I understand that part of it.
Yeah, no,
You can't take that.
you have a
body
good
and
point.
Put it on a new truck.
No, this is interesting.
You have a very good point. Say it again.
Get a new truck for the dump truck that you need for the middle school, high school.
Mhm.
Use the existing truck, take the dump bed off, and use it for what? For Mitch's truck.
Mitch now drives that.
No, because what I'm trying to do is and this is my overall plan. I'm trying to get away from the heavy trucks. I'm trying to go to a smaller pickup fleet, which is actually cheaper to the taxpayers to maintain, and easier to maneuver within the parking lot. So we have a lot of these stake body trucks. They're dual axles, expensive to maintain. We don't need trucks of that size. We need smaller trucks that are more easy to manage and cheaper to manage and maintain. So that's why I'm making the conversion to smaller vehicles, but I'm requesting that larger dump truck as our one large vehicle in the fleet that we can use to haul earth and equipment and things like that. So I'm eliminating 2 stake bodies in a dump truck to get a new dump truck, and that's it.
Is it possible that Mitch could drive a Prius?
You can't fit a lot of trail mix in there. The problem. Not a lot of trail mix.
So
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Trail mix.
Text.
are we recommending a dollar amount? Are we recommending?
Somebody needs to make a motion.
Yeah, I guess I'll make a motion and then we can always change it, right? So I'll make a motion to approve $840,000, $840,753 to be utilized for projects that are on this list as indicated and or to be changed at Dan's discretion.
Second.
I guess the only comment I have, I'm slightly confused. So I agree with the most of that motion, except for the fact that this has nothing to do with Dan. We could insert new person, Dan retires, and it's now Jim, right?
Not
we
allowed.
don't write blank checks to Jim and say, do what you want with this money, right? Within this construct. The Facilities and Finance Subcommittee has existed for all of its time that I have been on it, and we have literally racked and stacked projects. It's not telling Dan, this is how to go and clean this field, or this is how you go and paint this. We're not telling him how to do his job. We're prioritizing taxpayer funds.
So would you be comfortable if I change the motion to say that we're approving $840,000 as this list has and then any changes to this list would have to be presented to the Facilities and Finance Committee.
Yep, I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with that.
Everybody's better with that?
Yep.
I don't lie. That's not my final answer. I mean, I might have to phone a friend.
Right. Like essentially we want the things on this checklist done.
Yeah.
I just think we should, which you just did, provide the flexibility for Dan to say, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking that this thing is more important right now because of X, Y, Z. And this box gets unchecked. This one gets checked. They're equal dollar amounts for it. Which is, I think what you, I don't think.
Phyllis, I'm going to amend my motion to say that I'll make a motion to approve $753 to be spent on the items that are on this list.
Check.
That are checked. And any deviations or changes to this list would be presented to the Facilities and Finance Committee for approval, for review and approval prior to funds being spent. All right.
I'd be comfortable with that.
Second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeremiah can have that.
He worked for it.
Are you good with that, Kathleen? You good? Okay. Heather, good?
Yep.
James, good?
Yeah.
So this would,
Pretty close in most of the things.
So your goal is to send back 2 point.
It is, but I gotta go to multiple bids on.
but yeah,
Yeah.
the goal would be thereby
Yes.
sending roughly,
Can you explain that?
sorry, hold on. I'm going to pause on that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's a problem I gotta resolve. Well, I mean, because of the dollar amount on a lot of these, and believe me, I'm grateful for what's taking place here, but I was just telling James that I got a lot of work ahead of me because a lot of these have to go out for multiple bids and I have
Oh, yeah.
these done before our PO time.
Why it was, yeah.
Week.
Yeah.
So my understanding of the motion, so, and we can clarify this, is it's the projects we would want you to seek approval for deviating from, not necessarily the dollar amount.
If he wants to spend less, by all means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
But some of these prices.
Yeah.
But the prices will,
Both those things are true.
Right.
Yep. The motion is true and what Dan's concern is also true. I hear you. Yep.
He
It's
has to now go out and
he's now going to go to work,
he has to go to all the
getting bids for those projects.
Oh, got
Yep.
it.
Because these are,
Yeah.
so
Not because of the way we,
No,
the
I'm
motion.
the
just-
chicken.
There's.
but,
Yeah.
but if,
Fine.
but if all of this,
Did we do something to set
We-
him up for failure?
we approved 800, what is, or we're talking about approving what?
$840,753.
It's very possible Dan might come and say, we can't get this done for under 9, this list, based on what he's got going on, real pricing.
Right.
Figure that out.
Which means multiple bids, which means time. which
Multiple
means
bids, et cetera, et
time
cetera.
to get it done by July 1st.
Right.
Here.
So, but Marie, to your point, yes, my
the
intent,
fiscal year is ending soon.
the fiscal year is ending soon. The intention of this is to thereby give back to taxpayers roughly 2.5 million in unspent funds. That, you know, that roughly means roughly, for all the reasons we've talked about, it could be 2.3, it could be 2.6, who knows? But it's going to be in that ballpark is the goal.
Any other discussion?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Can you repeat the motion just for incredible thought?
Phyllis?
Be brief.
As the list that's on the list, items that have been checked. Approved, if any changes to this number or this list have to be presented, any deviations have to be presented to the Facilities and Finance.
For review and approval. For review and approval. Yep.
Thank you.
Any deviations covers both.
Right.
Any
Yeah.
deviation.
Any deviation.
So,
Yep.
like,
Yeah. So,
Which-
yep. And just to clarify, because my thought too is if Dan's in a jam and he's got 2 bids on something, right, and he can't get a third, he's up against the time, like, right, that's another deviation as well
that's right.
that he could bring to the subcommittee and say, here's the due diligence I've tried to do, right?
And
So
he-
we're not trying to hamstring,
As,
trying to be.
as he always does for everything else.
Exactly.
As you always do.
Yep. Yep.
Can we go through the list one more time just to make sure? 'Cause my math is gone. No, I want to make sure we're right. Because it's probably my math, not yours, but I want to make sure we have the exact right ones because I'm not getting the same.
I
number.
put in an extra 100.
Yes, absolutely. But I'm not getting the 740 right now. I want to make sure we're all on the same page.
You should be getting at 840.
No,
740 then becomes 8. That's what I meant.
Rick
The,
put
the
in.
green, my purple box is not the same. I just want to make sure that
Well,
we don't
James-
make a critical mistake because of,
James just
One of our-
forwarded his spreadsheet and then we can piece it together.
Yeah.
I think it might be, I think it'd be pretty quick just to rip
Okay.
through it. It might be good to put it on the
Yeah,
record
just
as well.
Yeah. Go through the numbers.
Yep. We have a,
From the
we
top.
have the Mitch's pickup.
Yep.
Yep.
It's just,
Just pick up.
Mitch's pickup for 57, 110 for the light switch,
These are cool.
5,000 for the loading dock and stuff out back, 100,000 for the greenhouse.
no,
We took that out.
get out.
There it is.
There it is. Boop, done.
Oh,
That goes with the
went the wrong
siding.
way.
That goes with the siding.
It should go with the siding.
Okay, I think I know what I got.
You're still in James's spreadsheet.
Nobody.
No, I'm in mine.
No, but
Okay.
nobody's.
Exterior paint for 9450, 50,000 for the parent drop,
I've been up since 5.
17,000 for the athletic
Like trainer card.
cater, 24. Is
That's-
that checked?
that's
Not
unchecked.
there, right?
Yeah,
Well, it
library.
was hidden on the screen, that's all. 4,000 for the front entrance at Swayze, 4,000 for the
4,000.
rest of the other piece of Swayze.
Red were things I pulled out.
Yep, that's okay.
Without checks, yeah.
45,000 for the truck body.
Wait, what about the dugouts?
No, we'd never had the dugouts checked off.
Okay.
There's
Yep.
an extra 100,000.
Extra 100,000.
This was the big differences in this spread right here. So again, same thing.
Yours is at 40 now, Bob. Yours is at
Big three.
exactly.
Were
No,
these
this is the number though. This is the number I got to get to.
Oh, sorry.
45,000 for the back of the truck. Then we have 15,000 for the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go way down to exterior surfaces. 50,000, 4,400, 7,210, 3,500, 1,600 for the cottage doors, 2,000 for the field house garage, 5,000 for the metal paint at Bakey, the Seacoast roof for 10, the paving road to the field house, or no?
Yep.
Okay, that's one I missed. And then the 1,500 for the hose.
Definitely that hot water.
Gotta have that.
That's
And I'm
This safety thing.
Safety.
But you're
Um,
too.
The rest was longer
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to reconcile to get, I'm not getting the same number. That's,
James, can you forward us your list and then
This is
who of
Dan.
us was, it's
Exactly.
exactly, we're just, something's not
A
checked.
more user-friendly platform.
Yeah.
Like Apogee.
Apogee, for example. We could have used Apogee for this.
James,
You're
do you
sold.
include the first two that we already approved from prior meeting in your total?
I need to be
We gotta be
Raj.
close here.
touch any formulas, so it's whatever.
Is
Yeah,
there,
I'm gonna need to,
All right, if you can forward it to me, I'll work on it tomorrow. But I know the dollar amount here.
Okay.
Did we vote?
We didn't vote
we did
yet.
not vote,
yeah.
but we have
We
a
can call
second
for a
and we've
vote
had
now.
discussion. Let's do that. All in favor of the motion as presented? That looks like everybody.
Yep.
Okay. Good work.
Thank you, everybody.
James, nice work. Dan. from
That,
Florida.
that's no small
Great-
task. for
great
a lot of
work.
people. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, James. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, we
Great.
have a lot of large infrastructure projects. so
And
that we need to get done.
that's the important thing. This thing
Gang.
not solve
No, it doesn't. I
the
mean,
majority of our problems.
and I'm going to be public with it. You know, if we have a boiler system that goes down at one of these schools, we're looking at 800,000 right now that we have to come up with to replace a boiler. Plus kids being out of school because we don't have heat in buildings, you know, it's a huge snowball effect. So, all right.
Okay, so that was end of year funds. I think we don't have any updates on school board goals because we're going to be talking with Adam about that once he gets going. Kathleen, do you have a question?
Thought the conversation was we want to get our goals in place before Adam starts.
Well, I think we have directionally a lot of good goals. Where we left off was, I think, making them more smart, as you suggested. And we were going to take your edits and then allow. So what we have, again, we've been using this language a lot tonight. We have a good what. We don't necessarily have a how.
Mhm.
We're going to measure how we're going to implement. I think strategically that was what we wanted them to, what I recall.
Yeah, this helps. I had coffee with Adam on Saturday morning for a couple hours, and he is very much looking forward to getting engaged in the goals and the strategic plan. So I think waiting a couple weeks probably makes sense.
Is he planning to reach out to the rest of us to have coffee?
Well, I don't know. I reached out to him, Heather.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know why I phrased it like that, but I've been reaching out to Adam since we interviewed him. And I did have coffee with him on Saturday. Because we're going to discuss things in non-public that are going to need clarification.
Yep.
But I do think waiting a couple weeks would help. I'm fully aligned with the changes that you made so far.
Yeah,
But I think they have to be somewhat incorporated into that strategic plan.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I guess my thought is that the goals don't have to be this set in stone thing that
No, they
doesn't,
shouldn't.
you know, have room for, right, adjustment,
100%.
right? So I think if we have a, you know, thought amongst the board of something, hey, Adam, this is what we think our goals are. We'd love for you to weigh in on that rather than hand him we're all over the place with our goals.
Yeah.
We want your weigh in order to get more aligned.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't seem to make sense to me.
No, I would certainly present him with a more, I don't want to present him with a marked up Word document.
Yeah.
We will align on a polished version of what our best shot, I think, before he weighs in. But
I mean,
the
we're
idea-
running out of time.
Yeah, the idea though would be that I think we're pretty, honestly, I think we're pretty close.
Have more people weighed in, or are we all just agreeing that my comments are a good direction?
Mostly, I think that's the case. I mean, I haven't received any other edits besides yours so far.
Okay. So I would love for there to be some sort of more formal action taken rather than just consider this continued old unfinished business.
What we can put on the agenda for next meeting then, Phyllis, would be a representation of finalized goals for reaction board. And so I can merge your edits into the document. We can present them and say, this is where we're at, and any feedback we have, we can do live in the meeting together and then edit them as we see fit, or just put in comments to be edited later. And that'll be what that is what we do. So and we'll need to carve out a good chunk for that probably. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, now we are at second public comment. Anybody want to take a step up to the plate for second at bat?
Something really, really quick.
All right, let's go.
Brief.
Super brief. Once again, Scott Rollins from Newton. With your goals, if I could make a suggestion, I know that the Sanborn Community Organization has also been working on trying to put together goals as well. So if you could, once that's a finalized thing, if it could be maybe emailed to Megan and that team, that they can kind of put together goals that work hand in hand with you guys, that might be super helpful. Just a thought.
Thank you, Scott. Megan and I are in regular communication.
Perfect. Okay.
And per my comment in the last board meeting, a lot of the feedback from the SEO will absolutely be incorporated into the goals. Thank you.
Yeah, that is actually I was just thinking that the more we engage with the community at the foundational level of getting into those goals, then we'll be in a better position to execute them and get people's buy-in, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Okay. Any other second public comments? Okay. The next meeting of the Sanborn Regional School Board will be held on Wednesday, June 17th, 2026 at 6 p.m. The library at Sanborn Regional High School. Another note, the class of 2026 will graduate on Friday, June 5th, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the gymnasium, Sanborn Regional High School. Would someone now like to call us into non-public session?
I make a motion to move us into non-public, RSA 91-A, semicolon 3, Roman numeral 2, A, C, and D. A is for the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee or the disciplining of the employee as an investigation of any charges against him or her, unless the employee affected has a right to a meeting, and 2, requests that the meeting be open, in which the request shall be granted. C, matters which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than the member of this board.
That's fine.
D, consideration of the acquisition, sale, or lease of real or personal property, which, if discussed in public, would likely benefit a party or parties whose interests are adverse to those of the general community.
Thank you.
Jeremiah
second. I just thanked her for all the reading.
So a lot of reading.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't see C either.
Yeah, the upgraded, the earlier agenda had C and it got pulled off.
Yeah. We can briefly discuss why it got pulled off and then it will be
there.
Then it will be there.
Appropriately used.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Elegant solution.
Yeah. Roll call in. James.
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes.
Jeremiah.
Yes.
Rick.
Yes.
Yes for me. Heather. Yes. Okay, we are officially adjourned from this public meeting. Thank you.